Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are going to check out the lore of Girls Frontline 2, which one I was owing you guys as I promised, and two, I'm also very curious what is actually the lore to this game. Since I've said many times before, but for those who doesn't know, when I started playing Girls Frontline 2, I was kind of heavily incentivized to just skip through the story and speedrun it to like chapter 3, 4, 5-ish, somewhere around those lines. Since we started out with max energy and it was not only at maxed out but overcapped, so I wanted to, reduce it at least below the cap, but I wasn't able to reduce it since, early game progression, early level ups, refilling the energy again, etc., etc., etc. And by the time I finally managed to put myself below the cap, I was already too deep into the story to catch up, and I kind of didn't care at that point. So I figured somebody might have already made a recap or something. So today the plan is to do some regular runs in the game. And while that is on doing it on auto, we will slowly but surely start doing the lore recaps. So let's take Jules for a spin, and we can also take Shuttle Self for a spin as well. And while this is going, let me just quickly switch over to my browser. And let's hop right into it. I found a decent channel, which kind of explains it in an orderly fashioned manner. I will be linking the channel later after the stream, out of courtesy. I think that's the word, courtesy. I really like the intro. It's well edited.
Welcome. In this video, the prologue and chapter 0 of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. The prologue of Girls Frontline starts with the head Sangus Ferry ringleader, Agent, holding the T-Doll M4A1 up by the neck, monologuing about how she has brought death to M4. M4's eyes open to see a damaged Agent.
So Agent is kind of like, I assume, one of the main antagonists, and M4 is what I could describe as Groza being in Girls Frontline 2 as kind of the main character-ish kind of protagonist, I assume.
And a burning building, with Agent further taunting M4 into showing more hatred in her eyes. For whatever reason, M4 periodically coughs in the conversation.
It's very in medias res kind of opening that it has. Like it jumps right into the middle of the action, and then I assume we will be this is like a foreshadowing into the future.
Which is strange because she's a T-Doll and most likely has no lungs. Agent accuses M4 of stealing something that's very important to her master, threatening to kill M4, then AR team, and then the other G and K dolls slaving away for her.
It could also be a flashback into the past, what happened so far, but this seems too much to be a flashback.
And believes that killing M4 will begin the downfall of the other G and K dolls, leaving them like, quote, infants who've lost their parents. Before she is able to kill M4, M16A1 finds M4 an agent, supposedly shooting and killing Agent and releasing M4 from her grasp. M4 asks M16 for a report on the situation outside, concerned that the other AR team members, ST-AR-15 and M4 SOP Mod 2, are in danger. AR-15 and SOP then show up and inform M4 that SF reinforcements have arrived and that it would be wise to retreat soon, with the backup squad being able to hold them off. M16 asks if M4 is able to still give orders, with M4 asking for repairs while she runs a diagnostic.
So, we have M4, who is the team leader. We have M16, AR-15, and M4. I believe it was M4 soft mod 2. Yeah. So this is probably the core team, the core, well, AR team, because everyone is an assault rifle. So this is the AR team.
10 minutes later, M4 has her tactical maps and comm system back
Okay. These look like, well, these are completely different.
up and running. She asks Scorpion, PPSH-41, and STG-44 to bring
Okay, let's, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do.
them off. M6 asks her has her tactical maps and comm system back up and running. She asks Scorpion, PPSH-41, and STG-44 to bring up
Okay, so we have Scorpion, PPSH-41, and STG-44. These are a lot of guns. I want to figure out which gun is which. It's maybe in order, so maybe this is Scorpion, this is PPS. No, the PPSH. This looks like the gun. This looks like an old-fashioned Tommy. And from other games, I know that this gun uses PPS ammunition. And the STG, yeah. So this is probably PPSH-41. This is probably the STG-44, and this is probably Scorpion. Well, whatever the case, we might see it later. I'm fairly
back.
certain that this is Scorpion, this is STG-44, and this is PPSH. This looks like a Russian outfit, this looks like a German outfit, and this looks like, I don't know, either a schoolgirl or a America outfit.
Being apologetic about having them do such a dangerous task. But she's comforted by PPSH-41. M4 explains to the backup squads that AR team needs to take the SF command post to be able to safely evacuate.
Yeah, so it's not AR team, it's AR team, the assault rifle team. Yeah.
She then guides the backup teams in combat against SF dolls.
SF dolls. SF is probably shortening for something.
Winning against the reinforcements. Suddenly,
well, if they're going against the SF dolls, which looks like the bad guys, I assume the SF is like a shortening for their faction.
Agent appears with 3 Scarecrow units.
Scarecrow.
She commends AR team for being able to kill her once, but made sure to bring more dummies for this encounter. The dummies that Agent brought swiftly and mercilessly wipe out the backup squads.
So what do we know about Scarecrow? according to my little notes, Scarecrow is a type of boss in the game who is based around the model SP65. Although I do not see the resemblance of it, but I believe that's the case then. And she is partners with Executioner and Hunter. Both of them, Executioner and Hunter, being also a type of boss in the game that we have to fight against. So, but wait. So if Scarecrow is a boss, then how is there three of them here? So are they mass producing these quote unquote bosses, or are they like clones? Maybe triplets? I don't believe that's the case. Well,
with
interesting.
Agent executing STG-44 and PPSH-41 after saying that the backup squads only delayed her for a short time. M4 is only notified of the demise of the backup squads after she tries to hail them over the radio, hearing Scorpion being executed as well, before Agent is caught in an explosion and the signal is cut. AR-15 and SOP are caught in the loss of their comrades before M16 brings them back to reality, so that they can capture.
So, by the way, from the splash art, this is Agent. She is one of the, well, main antagonists as well. She, I believe, to be the, what's it called? The SF fraction. Well, maybe I'll remember it later on. But basically, Agent is like a sub commander, a lieutenant, or like someone higher up in that SF faction who commands these quote unquote bosses like the Scarecrow, like the Hunter, Executioner, etc. Oh yeah, and SF stands for Sanguis Ferry. Ferry? Ferri? Ferry. Sanguis Ferry. That's the faction. So SF is Sanguis Ferry, and later on the guy will mention GNK quite a lot. That's Griffin and Kruger. That's our faction. So GNK is us, the good girls, and SF are the bad girls, basically. And also, this is another character, but I will mention her later because I don't know, she's kind of irrelevant here.
Capture the SF command post and deactivate the alarm. Due to the amount of enemies, M16 suggests to M4 that AR team moves to Plan C. Plan C is M4 returning to the base alone with the data, while the rest of AR team scatters to draw the fire of the SF dolls. M4 is at first hesitant, but is given the push she needs by the rest of the team. While escaping, she declares to herself that she will find a dependable field commander, and for the rest of AR team to wait for her. The story.
Yeah, so I guess this is how she will find us as a quote unquote dependable field commander.
Then cuts to a computer screen, with the system reporting that there has been no response from AR team for an extended period of time.
I also assume this has to be, like the first starter banner or the first limited banner for the game. Like it looks like that.
Because of
Or it
this,
could be.
a person named Persica calls Griffin HQ to inform that they have the data, but lost contact after coming under an SF ambush.
Okay, another new name, Persica. Persica is the head of the research and development department, and she is also a former member of a group called 90 Wish, which we'll probably know more about later. But basically, Persica was responsible single-handedly to who established the AR team in the first place. So she is kind of an important one.
Though they're able to independently operate, Persica still wants to rescue the 4 dolls, which are outside of G&K's jurisdiction. The man on the other end of the call asks a character named Hellion to see which commander is closest to AR team's position.
Hellion, another new name. Hellion. Well, let's skip Hellion for now. I think we will hear from her later on as well.
Area SO9's commander is a complete rookie, only just reporting for duty.
Rookie.
Chapter 0 explains the events before the prologue. M4 and M16 reach their designated coordinates in the disputed area of
So this happened before the fight, before all the bad shit happened.
SO9. M4 reports into Persica and repeats their mission objective. Search for all histories and research data signed with the name Lyco, and bring them back to 16 Lab.
Lyco. Lyco, I believe, is what he is referring to as Lycoris, who is head of the enemy faction's research and development department. And she was later killed as well, according to my notes. That's all we know for now.
SOP asks where to start, with AR-15 suggesting to take over a command post and hack into the SF database for the information.
Sub is someone later.
AR team moves forward towards a nearby SF base. AR team successfully takes over the command post and begins hacking into the database. While the hack is going on, AR-15 asks the other members if they thought about the objective of the mission. M16 asks AR-15 what she's talking about. AR-15 explains that Persica originally requested them to bring back research data, but now AR team is looking for stuff left by a dead guy named Lyco.
Yeah,
Lyco finishes the hack, and M16
Sof is referring to Sophomore 2, like AR-15.
Notices that a building designated Safehouse 3 puts a mainframe used by Lyco to store data when he was alive. AR team...
Oh, sorry, not AR-15, my bad. M4. Like M4 Sophomore 2.
Now starts to head towards Safehouse 3. When they find the safehouse, M4 radios into Persica that they found it and are heading towards it. SOP grows impatient because there is no, quote, tasty sangvis waiting for them. AR-15 scolds her and tells SOP that they're...
Like, I don't understand why he uses M4 once and SOP the second time, because, like, M4 is SOP. So whenever he says M4 or SOP, it's basically the same doll. It's kind of confusing. It's hard to keep track of at a first glance. Like, I literally had to pre-research and pre-make some notes without spoiling all the content. And naturally, because I'm reviewing it now live, I was out of concern. I did have to do a little sneak peek before going live. Obviously, to look at the material, if it's any good or not, if it's safe or not, etc.
They're not there for fun. After securing Safehouse 3, M4 radios into Persica again, with Persica revealing her face and asking if AR
So she's Persica?
Team can find Lyco's stuff. M4 reports that they are having trouble due to the system being archaic, making them
Also, what's happening to her?
unable to break the verification, requiring a passcode. Persica suggests using 90 Wish Rock X as password.
Yeah, so this 90 Wish is also a reference again with that group or organization or whatever they are, the 90 Wish,
which is accepted by the system. M4 then downloads everything into her memory bank, while the other members talk. AR-15 states that they're messing with an SF database in FSS territory to look for info that SF doesn't even know they have, with SOP retorting that it's like a treasure hunt. Suddenly, a call comes through, thanking the team for finding the treasure. On the other end is Agent, which surprises M16.
Yeah, Agent. Yep, that's her.
As she didn't think that such a high-ranking SF unit would be there. Agent states that the safe house holds something that her master seeks, with SF's units being unable to crack the system due to its age. Agent then states that she plans to capture, dismember, and extract the memory banks of the AR team members to find the answer her master is looking for. SF units swarm the safe house, and the rest of AR team must protect M4 while she is downloading the data. M4 tells the rest of AR team to prepare for battle, with M16 telling SOP and AR-15 to save ammo, especially SOP. AR-15 covers for SOP and asks M4 if the transfer will affect her commanding ability. M4 claims it won't, but she will need M16 to keep an eye out for enemy movements. After the first wave, SOP asks if they can call Persica for backup. M16 explains that they can't because their communication modules are automatically deactivated to avoid leaking 16 Labs intel. M4 chimes in.
Wow. State of emergency, but comms are deactivated, guys. Hope you understand. We don't want any confidential stuff being leaked. Oops. Well, that's a bummer.
And says that the transfer is at 50% and asks if the rest of the team can hold until it's complete.
Literal 50-50, guys. Just like the gachas. 50-50.
AR-15 says they're outnumbered and won't survive another wave. M16 suggests calling in a backup squad from Griffin that's in the area, and was most likely abandoned. M4 changes their authorization signals to make it a priority for the backup squad to support them. 30 minutes pass and the transfer is complete. Just as M4 and M16 are about to escape, Agent rushes their position and sets off
and
an
we're
explosion,
back at the beginning,
capturing M4. The final part of Chapter 0 is a repeat of the prologue, save for the end. M4 is explaining what happened that day. M16 comments that if what UMP-45 said comes true, Sector S09 will soon turn into a real battlefield.
Yeah, UMP-45, which the guys who, I think Jules and, Midori and the others and everybody else already told me that it's UMP, and I guess this is also how I should phrase it and not UMP, because initially I called her UMP instead of UMP. But based on my notes, UMP-45 is the Renegade Dolls leader, who is also working for us occasionally. She was featured in an event called Operation Cube, which I do plan to reach today. Probably that's where I'm gonna end the stream later on. And she is also secretly funded by Angelia, who I don't know who she is. I haven't looked her up. And this Angelina is the one who uses her as a personal Black Ops team. So UMP-45 seems like a very important character.
Quote, just like last time. M4 expects there to be more fired in blood, with M16 teasing her and asking if she's scared. M4 says that she isn't scared because AR team has reunited, stating, quote, let them come whoever they are. Whether we win or die, so long as we're together, I can ask for no better ending. Thank you for watching. Please check out my Arknights and Azure Lane.
So that was Chapter 0 and the prologue. Now moving on to Chapter 1 of Girls Frontline 1. Also, I'm curious, is this in-game footage like cutscenes, or is there an actual anime of this?
Welcome. In this video, Chapter 1, One Emergency, and One Night of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the...
Before we continue, let's hop back. Oops, I forgot to set it on auto.
Story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. Chapter 1 of Girls Frontline starts with a lively young girl introducing herself to the commander. Her name is Kalina.
Okay, Kalina. So she is a one-on-one comparison to our little helper in the dormitory section. Who, ironically, I don't even remember what's her name in Girls Frontline 2, but one thing I can definitely say that she looks way hotter and more better attractive, etc., than the current one. Uh, so yeah, I would prefer her instead, to be honest. Maybe it's the same person, but I doubt it. I do want to check it though, but I'm still doing it the auto run, so I'll check it later.
The logistics officer for the GNK Forward Operations Base in Area SO9. She informs the commander that they are now a tactical commander under Griffin, assuring that the commander is right for the job because Griffin's selection process is notoriously tough. Kalina then shows the commander how to use their tactical map, and drills the commander on how to deploy and command the T-Dolls. After completing the drill, the Griffin T-Dolls come across another T-Doll, Sten Mark II, asking to be taken with, and thanks the commander, promising that she'll do her best. Kalina is surprised by the retrieval of a stranded T-Doll, but welcomes her in with open arms, setting the
Sten Mark II is a former member of the Stenwell Lords. She is your typical 3-star SR, freely given unit, like based on her design. Like this is the starter. Here's your free unit. Enjoy. Like Sten Mark II, her fully design and visuals screams of that to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I'm getting. It would make sense since this is chapter 1 and the very very start of the game. And yeah, I don't know what Team Verlord is or Verrod, but I guess I'll find out later.
increase in Sangvis Ferry attacks recently being the cause of left behind or stranded T-Dolls, and asks the commander to save as many as they can. Kalina then explains what GNK is, saying it's a PMC comprised mostly of T-Dolls. GNK's duty is to accept commissions from financial groups and other organizations, and to safeguard human settlements. One of the biggest threats to GNK territories are the rogue T-Dolls made by SF, and it's the commander's job to manage and direct T-Doll troops in repelling SF forces in the area.
SF, the enemy faction.
A while later, the commander and Kalina start to run another drill. Kalina apologizes to the commander, explaining that they should continue with drills, but there's been a change of plans. A video call from GNK HQ comes through and a stern woman in uniform shows up in the video call. The woman introduces herself as Helianthus, the senior acting officer of Griffin. Helianthus.
Yeah, Helianthus, the monocle girl on the left of the screen. Yeah, as he said, he is the secretary and second in command of our organization. And also another character, namely Kruger's secretary, who we will be introduced a little bit later. But let me quickly tab back in and check if our current assistant is better looking or not, or if she is the same or not, because I definitely think she is not the same. Like, is she? Nah. There's no way that she is Kalina. Like orange, blue eyes, bosom. Yellow eyes, no bosom. Yeah, I prefer Kalina. They could have added someone of Kalina's caliber as our assistant. But it is what it is. Can't ask for too much fan service now, can I? On that note, let's continue.
Explains that she has been sent to Area S09 to investigate the sudden attacks from SF forces, as it has negatively affected Griffin's reputation, and the commander will be assisting Hellion until her work is done. Kalina is concerned as the commander has only done one drill, but Hellion explains that G&K doesn't have time or
Yeah, we
manpower
are
to spare
totally
waiting,
green.
and judging from their past results, the commander is more than qualified. The commander is directed by Hellion towards a new mission, where enemy movements have been detected behind the field, and the commander must deal with them before they gather intel. After
Yep.
successfully crushing the SF squad, as well as destroying the communication system in their command post, Hellion commends the commander for a job well done, far
Total
exceeding
victory.
her expectations. Hellion picks up on the commander not being clear about what SF is. She explains that Sangvis Ferry Manufacturing is an industrial producer specializing in tactical dolls. Due to their possession of some undisclosed technology, SFT dolls have extreme.
Yeah, so if they are a manufacturer, then as I assumed back with Scarecrow, they do mass produce those dolls. Or those bosses, agents, whatever we would like to call them. Or enemies, basically. Also, good news, guys. Towards the end of the week, or probably just in a few days, I will finally reach level 60, the maximum level. So, for the next upcoming Smokefire event, in the squad, I will be able to help out as well with the level 60 hard cap maps. Hopefully. I've heard they are quite strong, stronger than the weekly boss maps, so it's a little bit concerning, but we will see.
Extremely high battle efficiency, but not so long ago, their T-Dolls suddenly went rogue and began launching indiscriminate attacks against all humans within their factory. Now, they're occupying a vast area of human settlements and strategically expanding their territory. Hellion believes SF to be an enemy of humanity, and because their territory borders areas under G&K jurisdiction, they have been recruiting suitable candidates to command and coordinate operations. Hellion gets a call from G&K HQ and takes the call, mentioning something about those T-Dolls being found, breathing a sigh of relief after hearing the information. After hanging up, Hellion tells the commander she has an important mission for them, but needs to confirm the intel first. Before beginning the mission, Hellion explains that their front lines have retrieved several injured T-Dolls that are in need of urgent care
Yeah, it seems pretty
once they're
standard so
transported
far.
back to base. But there's an SF outpost that's operating autonomously under minimal command along the transport route that's used. Wanting to leave no room for error, Hellion tells the commander to take out the outpost. After shutting down the SF outpost and securing the transport route, Hellion thanks the commander for a job well done, and explains that the injured T-Dolls may have been witnessed.
Also, fast question, since it just came to my mind. If I tap back into the game, because I am doing the auto runs in between, I just noticed that it's not showing up on OBS as it should, or I assumed it would. It's kind of a bummer, but I'm just doing the whatever it's called, uh, the daily combat exercise of consisting of 3 short battles, because I'm always looking for the easy one targets. So yeah, I have to manually switch it. I hoped it would work because I've been fiddling around again. What a shocker. But seems it won't be switching automatically yet. Or at least not while I'm actually live. Because during the recordings it did switch. I guess this is one of those, this is again one of those things which I can only test and see during live streams and not via recordings. It is what it is. I also kinda already preemptively did most of the boring quote-unquote daily stuffs. To the point where I'm already finished with this account. So let me quickly just disable the whole game stream. Continue on with the video, because I think this is so far nothing new has happened. No new characters, no nothing. This is basically just your general generic story to progress, you know. Like, it seems important, sounds important, but it's basically just clear the map and progress until something happens. Something really important happens.
Witnesses to something important, and if the intel is true,
The timing with this something important, as he says. Yeah, right.
it may mean war between G&K and SF. The T-Dolls arrive at the base, and Hellion excuses herself. Now in the G&K factory, Mac-10 explains about being bored during the mission. Hellion tells her to shut it and that she'd be in big trouble.
Okay, Mac 10. Mac 10. So Mac 10 is Mac 10's actual real name is Ingram, and she is special in this case because she is one of the rare cases, the rare dolls who actually survived what he was talking about back in chapter 0 in the prologue, and she might have information on what happened to STG 44 and PPSH 41, which they both assumed, it's assumed they both have been executed by the enemy.
Without help from the T-Dolls that came to her aid. Mac-10 doesn't care because she revels in risky combat. Hellion continues pressing Mac-10 for information as she's one of the few survivors that's still capable of speech, asking what happened to STG-44 and PPSH-41. Mac-10 explains that she only knows that once Agent got there, she was in a hurry chasing something and that they only survived because they weren't her targets.
Yeah.
Hellion mentions that Scorpion is the only T-Doll still missing and that Mac-10 and her were close. Mac-10 answers saying she wasn't on the front lines and doesn't know where she went, but if she's alive, she'll leave behind clues as to where she is. Mac-10 asks if they'll have vengeance for Scorpion and the other T-Dolls. Hellion responds by telling her to go get herself patched up, and they will very soon have her fun.
Get patched up.
Before starting the mission, Hellion briefs the commander, telling them that a friendly T-Doll named Scorpion has gone missing and suspected to have fallen into SF hands. Because she
Yeah, Scorpion was mentioned earlier and even shown what her character is like. Like, she was this girl with the pointing up the Scorpio gun towards the air. Like, the small blonde girl with the eye patch.
may have vital intel, the commander is told to find intel on where Scorpion may be, and that the SF troops in this mission will actively seek out and attack G&K forces that are deployed. After the mission is complete and the relevant data is uploaded to G&K for analysis, Kalina informs that HQ has found important information that Scorpion is still alive but is in a tight spot and shows the commander a video. The video shows Scorpion being interrogated by Scarecrow. Scarecrow is surprised by Scorpion's cunning, with Scorpion stalling for time even though Scarecrow believes that her friends left her for dead. Scorpion denies this, but Scarecrow reminds her that AR Team are cold and highly efficient elite T-Dolls, and that Scorpion is nothing more than disposable goods for them. Scorpion further denies Scarecrow's claims, believing that M4A1 is her companion. Scarecrow offers to let Scorpion rot on the roadside if she tells her where M4A1 is, and that her emotions are merely fabricated
Yep, the little blondie with the eye patch.
lies. Not knowing where Scorpion is, Hellion instructs the commander to find and recover Scorpion regardless if she leaked information to Scarecrow or not. To reach Scorpion, the commander must first secure an SF recon base in the way. After securing the recon base and finding the coordinates to where Scorpion is being held, a group of G&K T-Dolls clear where she's being held. PPSH-41 is part of the group and goes over to Scorpion. Scorpion thinks she's dreaming, but PPSH-41 comforts her, telling her that she isn't in a dream. An hour later, in the HQ factory, Scorpion explains to Hellion that she didn't tell Scarecrow where AR Team is, rather giving her false information and that she'd never surrender such info to the enemy. Hellion believes her and wants to capture Scarecrow to find out what her objective is, and assigns Scorpion to the commander so that she may take her vengeance. In the final stage of Chapter 1, Hellion explains to the commander that they need to capture Sangva's ringleader model SP-65 Scarecrow,
Yeah.
because of recent information received from a rescued T-Doll leading Hellion to believe that Scarecrow knows the details and objective behind recent SF raids. The commander must extract her memory module. After defeating Scarecrow, G&K T-Dolls immobilize and capture her. Hellion talks to Scarecrow, saying that her resistance were futile, suggesting that she surrenders now and G&K will seize her in one piece. While having her final monologue, Hellion tells Scarecrow that the information that Scorpion gave her was false. Scarecrow tells Hellion that it wasn't entirely false because G&K T-Dolls don't have such advanced AI. Scarecrow explains that she knows how G&K AI is designed, and that when they lie, they throw in some random data on top of the truth and shuffle the sequence. So even lies have a bit of truth in the mix.
Yep.
And all SF has to do is collect and analyze 3 different sets of false intel to find the common factors. Hellion asks how Scarecrow knows about the programming of G&K.
3 doesn't seem sufficient, but they need at least 3 to be precise. Could be 5, 7. The more the better.
AI, as it's strictly confidential. Scarecrow doesn't answer, but rather says a sequence of numbers, and tells Hellion that she has found M4A1's coordinates. Hellion demands to know who she's corresponding with Scarecrow sending the coordinates to another SF doll named Executioner. After sending the coordinates, Scarecrow self-destructs her body.
Sending the information to her partner, Executioner. Well, if Scarecrow can't finish the job, maybe Executioner can.
The mission ends with Executioner beginning to look for M4A1.
The hunt begins.
That they, quote, paid a huge price just to find her. The Chapter 1 emergency missions are mostly Hellion and Kalina giving the commander simulations of previous missions, with more difficult enemies, explaining what the mission is, and then congratulating the commander for clearing the missions. But there are a few important points within the dialogue, such as Kalina explaining that a sophisticated AI is behind the SF turning rogue as it disobeyed its commanders at SF and seized control over all of the T-Dolls in its factory. But it's only surface level knowledge as G&K hasn't dived deeper into its investigations. And the reason why Hellion couldn't make it to one of the mission briefings was because she was at a mixer and failed to find anybody.
Mixer.
The Chapter 1 night missions start with MG5 informing the commander over video call that after Griffin reclaimed area as...
Okay, so the handsomely looking, like, I don't even know how to describe her uniform. The short silver-haired girl on the left is MG5, and the small little blonde girl, looks like a Little Red Riding Hood kind of doll, is MP5. So it's gonna be a really confusing mix here, because one is called MG5, the left one with the silver hair, and the little blonde girl is MP5. With that said, let's continue.
S09, Internal Affairs planned on converting it to a human settlement, but as soon as construction began, G&K scouts reported that a vast number of SF troops were stationed nearby. For the construction contractor to continue, Hellion needs information about the enemies to negotiate. G&K needs a T-Doll to check in with the other T-Dolls and acquire the newest recon report. The T-Doll in question is MP5. MP5 sheepishly introduces herself to the commander and explains that to avoid alerting the enemy, the operation will be during the night. Using NVGs and AP ammo will help during the operation. MP5 reaches the rendezvous location. MG5 comments on how smoothly things are going.
Wait a minute, let me actually get out my actual notes. Maybe it would be better to look at my notes than to just look at the scribbles I have wrote.
She was worried that the mission may have been too much
how
for
does this look
MP5.
like?
MG5
no
asks MP5 if she's found the scout for the area, which she hasn't because they're probably hiding. A voice comes out from a bush confirming that they were hiding. MP5 is surprised by this voice. WA2000 emerges and tells her to keep...
Okay, now this is where I was shocked for the first time, because WA2000 is actually fucking Macchiato. the same macchiato that we had the previous banner in Girls Frontline 2, and also the model itself like speaks volumes. Like even before I searched it up, like I was kind of sus of it, and I'm kind of shocked for two reasons, because this is still chapter one night. Like I assume nightmare, not it's not just night, it's nightmare maps, because there was chapter 1 maps, chapter 1 emergency, and chapter 1 night. Well, I won't assume it's nightmare, I'm just gonna call it the same way as he says, chapter 1 night. So it's very early on in the story, and she may be one of those characters, like from the from a community standpoint, like the player base standpoint, she may be one of the, those beloved characters. Just from some reactions I have received when I said I'm probably gonna skip Macchiato, which is not a probably anymore. I did skip her. So yeah, that when I first seen this is when it hit me.
Keep quiet unless she wants to die. MP5 apologizes and asks WA2000 for a situation report. WA2000 explains that there are armored bugs prowling all over the place and asks how MP5 managed to sneak in alone. MP5 says that she was escorted by a commander in the area, which catches WA2000 off guard as they suddenly switch to the commander's channel, with MP5 reminding WA2000 to keep quiet as SF units are nearby. WA2000 is embarrassed and quickly thanks the commander for their help. MP5 asks if WA2000 is embarrassed, and WA2000 tries to brush off the interaction and tells MP5 to get lost already because she has the recon report.
I can imagine Macchiato telling MP5, "Fuck off, will you? Fuck off."
Before she leaves, MP5 gives her a special supply package from G36 containing chocolate ice cream.
Ooh, chocolate ice cream. So is MP5 has a sweet tooth, or is a fond of ice cream, specifically chocolate ice cream? Like, is this something like Sabrina and the pizza?
MP5 not to tell a soul about her ice cream. MP5 apologizes as the commander is still online. MP5 asks WA2000 if this is the next recon checkpoint, with WA2000 confirming
They're
that
still
it is,
online, sorry.
but MP5 will have to take it over before she makes contact because the enemies are strong. MP5 takes a note that WA2000 is good at taking care of others, which WA2000 explains that she's good because she's taking care of herself for a while. After clearing the area, MP5 meets with P7, who offers MP5 some snacks after a tough journey. MP5 eats one of the pies offered by P7 and spits it out, exclaiming that it tastes nothing like the pies she's had before. P7 tells her she got the recipe from Type 56-1, and that it's a delicacy from her homeland, made from 5 different types of nuts, and is only eaten on a particularly full moon every year.
Nutty.
MP5 asks what kind of nuts she used, which are revealed to be 5 types of pepper and some cheese powder because P7 forgot what types of nut to use.
Since when is pepper a nut? And when is cheese a nut?
MP5 tells that peppers aren't even nuts and asks why the cheese powder tastes like strawberries.
Okay, so not even, she didn't even get the nuts correctly, but the cheese was strawberry? What the fuck?
With P7 explaining that Type 56-1 said she needed to add something called rock sugar, and tells MP5 to be thankful.
Hey, rock sugar?
Said she needed to add something called rock sugar.
Like, is this actually something I am referring to in the actual game here? What I call sugar cubes? Like the premium currency over here. The collapse pieces. Oh, why won't it show? Oh, this is why it won't show. So, yeah. Is the sugar cubes, rock sugar cubes, referring to these premium currency? Or like the obtainable premium currency? Because I do believe I remember that they are referencing it as sugar cube as well. I don't know if that's an actual thing or, maybe just has someone else has just the same thinking as me.
and tells MP5 to be thankful for getting served. MP5 doesn't like P7's praying.
Hi, Rose. Welcome, welcome. How are you? I'm recapping the lore currently from the first Girls Frontline game, and but going in chronological order to catch up where I am now in Girls Frontline 2, Chapter 7, because I didn't want to just jump right into the middle, and I obviously skipped many of the earlier story stages because of efficiency, and I found it best to catch up from the very, very, very beginning, especially since I have noticed. No, I took notes from Jules, Midori, and everybody else that people don't refer and don't call the characters in the game. Like, let me show you. They don't call the characters by their name. For example, Sabrina as Sabrina or Groza as Groza. They call her but them by their weapon names. So Groza is, for example, OST 12 because Groza actually uses the OST 12, or not 12, sorry, OST 14. I'm still mixing them up little by little. And yeah, that's what we are doing currently. What about you? How was your day? And you're just going to chill, I assume. Also, yeah, it's a very, very, very like if you compare the two games, like it shows like this game was out like decades ago, I assume. Okay, so it's not tomato juice, it's probably a chili juice or something. Yep. Yeah, as you can hear, it's kind of confusing to even just to listening about, like these gun names like MG5. MG5, it's the silver-haired girl over here. MP5 is the shrimp on the left side, the little blondie. And the girl who just left the scene, who drank the quote-unquote tomato juice, which was actually a chili viper juice, as we know now, was P7. Oh yeah, I forgot. My bad. I should turn on the captions. Maybe it would be easier. I don't know. Maybe because I'm not logged in for security reasons on my end personally. I'm not logged into my YouTube account. But I do wish if it would remember to keep the captions on. So yeah, what she said was something elf with, and elf is 11 in German. Gu elf. Okay, now these two are also kind of a shocker to me because I remember Sneaky Jules told me personally that HK 416 is actually Kluke from the Girls Frontline 2. And she will be an upcoming and probably not just a very good, but kind of a meta character as well. And yeah, so HK is this girl here with the long blonde, well, not blonde, but silver hair. Both of them have long silver hairs, but HK is the straight long hair, and G11 is with the curly long hair. Well, HK is like overall neat, and G11 is overall like messy, kinda. Her hair, her clothes, same thing. Her hair, her clothes. Like she is the neat one, she is the messy one. Like they're kind of like polar opposites in a sense. But back what I was saying, HK 416 is Kluke. Kluke. I've been hearing many good things about her, and she is one of the dolls I might want to pick up. And G11, I haven't heard anything about her, but she is called Mekti. And she is also gonna be a playable character in Girls Frontline 2 at one point, I assume. At least if that's the information I have, then I'm assuming and I believe it's correct. Oh, Pinky, what cute emotes are those? Chilling and applause. Wow. Those are nice emotes. I kind of like them. They are so cute. Thank you, thank you. And there's someone named 45. I assume it's UMP 45. Oh, the chocolate ice cream. Okay, so G11, she has a sweet tooth. She just numbed all of the chocolate ice cream. I see. I see. She she kind of she kind of give she could be good friends with Sabrina, I assume. I had enough living in a world full of morons. It just came to my mind. Maybe I can do something like this as well. Not just after the stream, but for now as well. I'm definitely gonna do it after the stream, but maybe. Will this work? Nope. Why won't it work? I want to pin this, but. Ah, okay, it works. Yeah, there we go. For those that who might be wondering what I'm watching. Oh, it did work for the first time as well. It was just delayed. Okay. Oh my god. I forgot to show. Okay. Now I see what's the confusion. Okay. I forgot to switch. Well, let's go from the beginning. Let's continue where we left off then. Uh okay. So this is where we
Construction
started.
began, call that after Griffin reclaimed Area S09, Internal Affairs planned on converting it to a human settlement. But as soon as construction began, G&K scouts reported that a vast number of SF troops were stationed nearby. For the construction contractor to continue, Hellion needs information about the enemies to negotiate. G&K needs a T-Doll to check in with the other T-Dolls and acquire the newest recon report. The T-Doll in question is MP5. MP5 sheepishly introduces herself to the commander and explains that to avoid alerting the enemy, the operation will be during the night. Using NVGs and AP ammo will help during the operation. MP5 reaches the rendezvous location. MG5 comments on how smoothly things are going, as she was worried that the mission may have been too much for MP5. MG5 asks MP5 if she's found the scout for the area, which she hasn't because they're probably hiding. A voice comes out from a bush confirming that they were hiding. MP5 is surprised by this voice. WA2000 emerges
So again, WA2000, Macchiato.
and tells her to keep quiet unless she wants to die. MP5 apologizes and asks WA2000 for a situation report. WA2000 explains that there are armored bugs prowling all over the place and asks how MP5 managed to sneak in alone. MP5 says that she was escorted by a commander in the area, which catches WA2000 off guard as they suddenly switch to the commander's channel with MP5 reminding WA2000 to keep quiet as SF units are nearby. WA2000 is embarrassed and quickly thanks the commander for their help. MP5 asks if WA2000 is embarrassed, and WA2000 tries to brush off the interaction and tells MP5 to get lost already because she has the recon report.
This is when I said, yeah, fuck off, will you, mate? Fuck off.
Before she leaves, MP5 gives her a special supply package from G36 containing chocolate ice cream and tells MP5 not to tell a soul about her ice cream. MP5 apologizes as the commander is still online. MP5 asks WA2000 if this is the next recon checkpoint, with WA2000 confirming that it is, but MP5 will have to take it over before she makes contact because the enemies are strong. MP5 takes a note that WA2000 is good at taking care of others, which WA2000 explains that she's good because she's taking care of herself for a while. After clearing the area, MP5 meets with P7, who offers MP5 some snacks after a tough journey. MP5
P7?
eats one of the pies offered by P7 and spits it out, exclaiming that it tastes nothing like the pies she's had before. P7 tells her she got the recipe from Type 56-1 and that it's a delicacy from her homeland, made from 5 different types of nuts and is only eaten on a particularly full moon every year. MP5 asks what kind of nuts she used, which are revealed to be 5 types of pepper and some cheese powder because P7 forgot what types of nut to use. MP5 tells that peppers aren't even nuts and asks why the cheese powder tastes like strawberries.
Yeah, sadly, since this is the second time I am hearing this, it's not as good as the first time, but it's still good. How can peppers be nuts and how can cheese be strawberry? We will never know. It's a P7 thing, I guess.
With P7 explaining that Type 56-1 said she needed to add something called rock sugar.
Also, yeah, this was the time when I yapped about rock sugar, but yeah, since I forgot to change the scene, nobody was seeing or hearing what the video was going about. So yeah, that's why I'm recapping again, just this part, because I switched somewhere around here.
Sugar, and tells MP5
Also, type 65. Type 65-1 is someone who looks like Cammy from Street Fighter in a green outfit. We will probably see her later, or maybe not.
5 to be thankful for getting served. MP5 doesn't like P7's pranks, but she still has a job to do and cannot let her emotions take over, handing over a large glass of ice juice from G36. P7 is hesitant to drink the juice as she believes it to be tomato juice, but
we know
hesitantly
it's not
drinks it
tomato.
with a straw. From just a sip, P7 explains that it's super spicy and begins rolling on the ground. MP5 tells her that the juice is squeezed from a chili pepper called Viper, with a sip having the same effect as a tear gas grenade, and that G36 told MP5 to give P7 the juice if she tried to prank MP5. MP5 then takes the recon report and begins to leave, with P7
also G36, we will be introduced her later on. She is a blonde doll in a maid outfit.
asking her for tomato juice. After receiving the recon report from P7, MP5 continues on to the next checkpoint. She asks MG5 if she's meeting with MG4, with MG5 explaining that MP5 will be meeting 2 other T-Dolls to fill in for MG4, as MG4 is on an important mission.
Yeah, and MG4 is someone who I won't even mention here because, funnily enough, I did not find anything relevant to her so far.
Identify each other using a password.
Only MG3.
MG5 tells MP5 to let her know if
and
the
MG5,
two are giving her trouble. After arriving at the 3rd checkpoint, MP5 says the password G11, which means G11 in German, and hears something that isn't the correct response but tries again, which she finally gets a proper response of, "O ye mortal who summoned this elf by her true name, name thy wish." HK416 and G11 appear, with HK416 being...
So yeah, now we're back to this point. Clay with all neat, the straight long hair, neat outfit, and Mekti, the G11 with the messy hair, the messy outfits, and the one who we know now eats all the chocolate ice cream. And this is the part where I finally realized that I wasn't on this scene.
Embarrassed by having to respond.
So everything else beyond this is gonna be new again.
To which G11 responds that making HK416 respond was the plan all along. MP5 asks the 2 T-Dolls if they're the ones she's supposed to be meeting, but the 2 aren't pleased with the hardships that they went through just for MP5. Before they can do something to MB5, MG5 steps in and stops them, threatening to kick HK416 and G11 out by asking Hellion to do something about them. Shaken at first, the 2 then remember that someone named 45 has arrangements so that they can have free meals anywhere.
Again, probably
MP5
UMP45.
interrupts the argument, saying that she still needs the recon report. HK416 angrily hands it over and tells her to scram. Before she leaves, MP5 gives the ice cream G36 prepared for MG4 to the 2, with G11 eating all of it because it's her favorite ice cream. MG5 taunts HK416, saying that her defection failed once again, with HK416 responding that she's had enough with living in a world full of morons.
Yep, living in a world full of morons.
After collecting all the recon reports, MP5 thanks the commander for guiding her through the mission, as she believes herself to be weak and small, being incapable of doing anything. MP5 and the commander's final task to make it in time for Hellion's conference with the reconstruction contractors is to avoid detection by SF units. MP5 reaches the G&K temporary office without being detected, and delivers the recon reports to Hellion. Hellion looks over the reports, saying that SF has got their hands on many armored units, and the real estate agencies are going to be scared when they learn of it. MP5 asks if they have to counter the attack, but Hellion explains that the armored units are military units that were hacked by SF, and the military will have to clean up their own mess. MP5 also wants to do more and be relied on both by humans and her companions, which is why she accepted the assignment, because she wanted to become stronger. Hellion agrees and says that G&K T-Dolls are repurposed civilian T-Dolls that stand no chance against military T-Dolls.
Yeah.
But there are only things that MP5 and the other G&K T-Dolls can do, and that G&K T-Dolls won't be inferior forever. though upgrading them takes time, manpower, and money.
And resources, yep.
Hellion then gets a call from someone named Thompson and informs MP5 that a new mission has arrived.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
for watching.
Thompson.
Make sure to
Thompson is gonna be another leader of a squad, namely the Thompson Squad, but that's gonna be coming up at the Chapter 2 night missions. Before that, there's gonna be a different squad named Squad FN in
follow my
Chapter
Twitter
2.
for updates.
So let's hop into Chapter 2.
Welcome. In this video, Chapter 2, 2 Emergency, and 2 Night of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. Chapter 2 continues where Chapter 1 left off, after the self-destruction of Scarecrow following her defeat and the reveal of M4A1's location. Hellion informs the commander that no one was hurt in the explosion, but the SF memory module was destroyed.
You forgot to mention that a new evil boss type of SF doll is now hunting for M4 as well, since the self-destructed Scarecrow sent a signal of our location.
Barely being able to recover any data from it. One of the few pieces of important information Hellion was able to recover was a sequence that, according to the intelligence department, had some hidden coordinates. The commander sends T-Dolls to investigate the area. After the battle, the commander submits the report to Hellion, with Hellion returning to HQ.
The fuck is this? This has to be like, not the original. This has to be an after thing. Like, I refuse to believe this is the original.
Hellion tells Kruger that things are more serious than they imagined, with SF being one step ahead. In other words, they've been beating G&K to the intel regarding M4A1. Hellion suggests that SF has a T-Doll that is a skilled codebreaker, while Kruger believes that they may have a mole leaking info to SF.
So before I forget again, captions.
Hellion is taken back by Kruger's suspicion, believing that everyone at G&K is trustworthy, and that the T-Doll safety systems are impeccable. Kruger believes that safety and trustworthiness are relative, telling Hellion to halt operations for now, as they can't begin to guess what SF has in mind, and that there's no need.
Oh yeah, and as I mentioned before, Heliot, which he refers to as Heliot, is actually Heliantus. This guy is Heliantus, and he is wait, maybe it's not. Well, whatever the case is, Heliantus is Kruger's secretary. No. She is Heliantus, my bad. And he is Kruger. So if we haven't seen Kruger so far, this is the first time he is introduced. So Kruger is de facto the leader. That's why the faction is actually called Griffin and Kruger, and Heliantus is his assistant and second in command in the faction. So they are like number 1, number 2, the 2 top dogs or cats or whatever. In this case, top cats.
Need to follow up on the commander's mission. Hellion asks if they should continue the operation to rescue AR team. Kruger confirms this, but they're changing strategies and need to find someone suitable for the task. Kruger asks Hellion if the commander likes cats. Hellion is unsure but hopeful, and Kruger says that since they can't solve their current problem, they'll just have to start from their roots. Back in the TAC center, Kalina returns and tells the commander that she's dead tired after working in the warehouse. The commander doesn't recognize Kalina and asks who she is. Kalina pouts at the commander and gets back to business since HQ sent them a new assignment. The assignment is to take out SF troops that have surrounded a GNK squad.
Yeah, and now I remember the error that I made is when I first saw Kalina, I switched from the browser back into the game, which I'm gonna do now again. And I don't know why it's not showing up since or maybe that's why. Okay. So yeah, the reason why I switched back because Kalina, as you've seen here, is actually the supporter of us, like for me, the commander. Well, not supporter, what's it's called? Assistant. Like she is our personal assistant. You can say it, quote unquote, our personal assistant. And compared to her in Girls Frontline 1, we have our personal assistant, who I don't even know her name, here in Girls Frontline 2, which is her. And I was comparing her, whatever her name is, to her, Kalina. And I was like, God damn, why couldn't be it Kalina in Girls Frontline 2? Or why couldn't it be someone of Kalina's caliber? Because this I very much prefer over this. Yeah. That's all. And now that I didn't forget to switch back, let's continue.
Squad and outpost. Combat finishes, but the commander doesn't look happy about it. Kalina sympathizes as the huge operation they were put in charge of got terminated all of a sudden, and now they're cleaning up.
Again, yeah, single monitor. It happens. Also, it's my first time doing a stream like this, so errors are inevitable. It's a learning experience for me as well. Not just lore-wise, but as a streamer as well.
Here and there. She then tries to cheer the commander up by telling them that they're doing great as a new commander, and that eventually new opportunities will show up. Out on the battlefield, FN-49 and FN-FNC talk, with FN-49 spotting no.
Okay, another few notes to say. So, as I said before, Chapter 2, the regular chapters, are featuring a squad FN, which first and foremost, we saw the guy with the cat ears. Funnily enough, that editor was funny here and draw some cat ears with some custom notes. He was Kruger, and his full name is Berezovich Kruger, actually. He is the co-founder and CEO of the EGNK organization, as I mentioned before. FN-49 is her, the brown hair girl with the rose in the hat. And FNC is the small little blonde girl with the two golden hairpins. Also, it's not showing here, but she is also a chocolate lover because she has a chocobar in a bit of chocobar in her mouth on her splash art.
No enemies, and FNC saying that they received some suspicious signals for nothing. FN-49 wants to head back as soon as possible because she's scared, but FNC has second thoughts on heading back so early. FN-49 spots someone and recognizes them as one of their own, asking FNC if they should shoot. Before deciding on what to do, the T-Doll leaves, leaving the two confused. Kalina and the commander get a new mission, another one that doesn't have to do with their last case, but Kalina believes that the quiet days aren't bad and the pay is good. According to their sources, SF troops didn't evacuate immediately after Scarecrow self-destructed, forming several guerrilla squads that continue to remain active in GNK territory, with the commander needing to chase the remaining SF troops away. Meanwhile, out on the battlefield, MP5 and MG3 are finishing cleaning up.
We are cleaning the battlefield. It's gotta be squeaking clean.
MP5 wants to double check that it was the last wave, with MG3 believing that everything should be fine as she's done
Ah yeah, MG3. So she is MG3 and it definitely doesn't show in her game art, but MG3 is kind of a top heavy girl, if you know what I mean. Like she has the boobas.
several rounds already. MP5 detects a strong SF signal, with MG3 asking where it's coming from. The source
Like she is probably one of the first and biggest fan service the original game had, in my opinion. Just not, like again, it doesn't really show here, but her splash art, goddamn.
of the signal reveals itself. Executioner says good morning to the Griffin T-dolls.
This is the one who Scarecrow sent our coordinates, Executioner, and she is the one who is looking for us. Well, specifically M4, M4A1.
With MP5 and MG3 both getting ready to fight her. Executioner responds by saying they're not worth her time, and asks if they've seen a T-doll with black hair, a skull bandana, armed with an M4A1, and looks like an airhead. MP5 says they haven't seen any T-doll by that description, with Executioner coming to the conclusion that M4A1 would rather keep running than put them in danger, fearing Executioner's might, and then runs off. MP5 and MG3 report the incident. Back at the TAC Center, Kalina informs the commander that their mission this time is from 16 Lab. A disheveled woman with cat ears and a lab coat introduces herself to the commander as Persica, a researcher from 16 Lab. Kalina chimes in and says that Persica is actually the head researcher and that
Yeah, I kind of preemptively showcased or talked about Persica, so I won't repeat myself again.
16 Lab is Griffin's tech supplier, making weapons and network tech for the T-dolls. The mission this time is to eradicate SF forces in the area and retrieve some research data stored in a database. After the battle, the report is submitted to Persica. Hellion hands over a copy of the report to Kruger. Kruger has come to check up on the T-dolls as the next battle is about to begin, and thanks Hellion
Like the heart emotes as well. I see you're collecting them like Pokemons. To be fair, I have a few as well, accidentally, occasionally.
for the hard work. Hellion tells Kruger that Persica is analyzing M4's database, but the extracted data so far is insufficient, and that they may need to expand their search area. Kruger says that Persica can do it herself, as GNK isn't capable of organizing bigger operations, as well as their contract stating that they should focus their work on things that are quote-unquote tactically valuable. Hellion says that it's almost impossible to get info regarding AR Team on time, when their main forces are left in a faraway area. Kruger mentions the two reports being useful. However, the reports of the M4 sighting and Executioner, saying that it's up to Persica now. Hellion asks if rescuing AR Team is still their main objective, with
Also, this is not me, this is actually how the video is, so it abruptly cuts off and it will continue whenever it continues. It is what it is. I have no clue why this
the
happened.
next mission Persica gives Kalina and the commander is to look within the local area for something called HVVQJ. Kalina is unsure why Persica wants the area searched, as it's all ruins and there's no sign of any databases there. Persica offhandedly mentions that it may be sugar cubes she left last time.
Oh yeah, and it's referring again, sugar cubes. Like, I am strictly a believer right now that the sugar cubes are actually the freaking paying currencies, what we call collapse pieces over here. Like, I was jokingly said it from day one when I first saw this currency that, oh my god, I'm just gonna call it sugar cubes because it reminds me of sugar cubes, but I don't really know still if this is just a thing that the guy in the video and me calls it, or is this actually like a meme at this point? Or maybe it was originally is referring to like an actual sugar cube, like, I don't know.
Time she moved. After combat, Clean reports to Persica that all they found was a tape. Persica shouts at them to play it. The tape plays and shows M4, who reports that, as of recording, it's her 70th day on the run. There's no progress at all, the operation is in jeopardy, and she is being targeted by SF troops. M4 expected a pursuit, but they're almost catching up, with M4 unsure of how long she can keep it up. Colleen asked Persica if that was what she was looking for, with Persica being unresponsive for a bit before thanking the commander, the ace that Hellion thinks highly of. Hellion joins the call and says that it's up to Kruger to decide who to focus training on, and asks Persica if her mission was accomplished. Persica says that she has the data and the results will be out in a moment, with Hellion trying to rush her as they're running out of time. Persica offers the commander some coffee if they ever come by the lab and
Ooh, the best decision anybody could do. Now I love Persica. If Persica offers coffee, I'm all in.
terminates the call. Hellion suggests the commander skips the coffee as it's like dirty water used for doing the
Shut up, Helmut. Like, what dirty water using the dishes? Are you insane, woman? Like, Helianthus, you just went from an okay character to the very bottom of the pit, in my eyes. The freaking secretary woman, how dare she say coffee is like dirt water washing the dishes?
Hellion suggests the commander skips the coffee as it's like dirty water used for doing the dishes while sitting in a freezer.
While sitting
Hellion
in a freezer on
explains to the
top of
commander
it.
what's going on in Area SO9.
Wow.
The SF invasion of Area SO9 is not random. An SF ringleader is searching for a T-Doll known as M4A1. M4 is a part of AR tactical unit under G&K, and has been collecting some research data under the commission of Persica, and, according to their sources, M4's neural cloud seems to be carrying extremely important confidential info. M4 is lost in Area SO9 and needs to be safely rescued, and this mission has been delegated to the commander. Launching an immediate search in Zone T6, the commander goes to rescue M4 from the SF ringleader in the area, model number SP524, Executioner, who's hell-bent on chasing M4.
Oh yeah, I probably haven't mentioned Executioner, only Scarecrow, so let me quickly catch up and yeah, so Scarecrow was based around the model SP65 and Executioner is based on model SP88. The old model was SP524, the new model, oh no, the old model was SP88 and the new model was SP524. So Executioner and Scarecrow are both partners, and there will be a third partner in crime later called Hunter. But I will introduce Hunter when we get to that point, I guess.
On the battlefield, M4 taunts Executioner, asking if something is wrong as an unexpected situation has arisen.
Ignore the body.
Executioner asks why Griffin T-Dolls attack her command post before HQ gave the order. M4 explains that a human commander is capable of mobilizing their troops independently. Executioner asks if M4 was waiting all this time. M4 admits it was a gamble, but she had no choice but to have faith in them. And now they must discuss Executioner's ending. Executioner says that even if M4 hides amongst the Griffin troops, they still have ways to get to her, reminding M4 that the other members of AR team are still out in the field, and will make excellent bargaining chips. M4 fires her rifle and kills Executioner saying, quote, "You should have not brought them up, seeing this scum." 5 minutes later, the Griffin troops reach the rescue zone. When M4 sees the commander, she says, quote, "Is that you, Commander? Are you the commander that Miss Persica mentioned? Excuse me. Allow me to introduce myself. Designation M4A1. Please call me by this name. I am a Griffin T-Doll under the AR Special Unit. Due to certain reasons, I am currently under Sangva's pursuit. Miss Persica told me a tactical commander will provide me with backup. And the watchword
Yeah, and so we are this tactical commander.
is, sugar cubes?
What? Sugar cubes?
And the watchword is, sugar cubes?
The watchword is sugar cubes. Like, this is starting to be weird. What is the connection between the sugar cubes, the collapse pieces, and whatever it's going on?
Yes, thank you for your timely rescue. Right now, I only have a single request. Save us. There's not much story into Emergency. Persica wants the commander to go through some of the
Ooh, I like the icons, like GNK, us, the good guys, versus the Sanguis Fairy, the bad guys, quote unquote.
stages that they've been through before, taking samples from the SF ringleader dummies
So not
and
many going
SF
on here.
units. Persica thanks the commander for rescuing M4 and explains that she doesn't talk to M4 much because she's lazy, as well as having no use for her at the moment. M4 shows up during the third mission, with the two happy to see each other. After finishing the last emergency mission, Persica tells the commander that she's comparing SF and Griffin T-Dolls, saying that they're completely different, questioning what AR team found in Safe House 3.
No shit. The two opposite factions are completely different. Wow.
As well as how SF units were made. At the start of tonight, Thompson greets the commander. She
Okay, two night missions. Now this is gonna be featuring the Thompson squad, where Thompson, who is the character you see on screen right now, with the glasses and the little snack out of her mouth, is Thompson, the team leader, and there will be a few more
explains that, as indicated
that will be introduced.
on the map, SF troops have set up a defense line in the area, and to coordinate with the military's op to eradicate them. They need to quietly station some men in a few bases, leaving infiltration to the commander. Thompson also mentions to the commander that they're in high demand at Griffin nowadays, taking some effort just to borrow them. After the Griffin troops arrive at the base, Thompson
Yep, so after Thompson, we have M1911, I believe. Nope, that's not MT911. What is that weapon? That's a pistol. That's M9. That's M9. Yeah, that's M9.
commends the commander for a job well done, and calls up 1911 to ask who to station at the base. 1911 suggests an HGT doll because the base is mainly used for recon, with M9 volunteering herself for the job, saying that she'll do better than 1911.
Yeah, this is M9. And 1911 was the one who she called up first. She suggested M9. And 1911 will be a short blonde girl, also blonde by the way, but she will have like short blonde hair, like this long, and she will have a cowlick somewhere. And she will also have a very signature Murica tie on her as well.
The old hag. Thompson leaves M9 in charge of scouting duties, and then begins to select a T-doll to guard her. M9 says it won't be necessary as they're understaffed as is already. Thompson and the commander move on. 1911 reports to Thompson that everything is going smoothly so far. Thompson cockily agrees, saying that it's because she's the one on the field.
There we go.
With several bases still to go and the commander on their side, sneaking in will be a piece of cake. But there's the infamous troublemaker amongst their ranks, who most likely isn't pleased about being assigned to a mission like this one. 1911 asks Thompson to deal with the troublemaker, but Thompson is no Springfield and she'll have to think of something.
Okay, yeah, Springfield was mentioned here, and I immediately caught on this because Springfield is also a playable character in Girls Frontline 2. And after a little bit of searching, I basically found no real important info about her, aside the fact that Springfield is also called M1903. So because M1903 is Springfield, is the weapon itself. And I don't know what the connection is between M1903 and M1911, the short cowlick blonde haired girl with the Marika tie.
Arriving at the base, Thompson leaves Ingram for her station. Ingram asks why and how
Yeah, and we see Ingram again, which is Mac 10.
long she has to stay there. Thompson says she'll have to stay for a while due to the military still deploying its T-dolls and not saying when the action will take place, and that it's better to use someone else's money than their own. Ingram only joined Thompson's team after hearing about her, wanting a bloodbath. Thompson apologizes as all her actions are taken under Griffin's instruction, and never on a whim. Thompson hands Ingram a detonator and continues on to the next base. 1911 asks Thompson if she heard the barrage from this side, as the military have opened fire ahead of schedule, with 1911 believing the military never trusted them. Thompson tells her to stick to the plan as the front line isn't there, and that they'll be fine as long as they don't get caught up in the fight. 1911 informs Thompson that the base where M9 is the front line. Thompson has no time to babysit M9 and asks 1911 if she has any preparations made, and then continues on. After taking another base, 1911 asks if Thompson has
Yep, this new sprite, new girl that we see here with the brown reddish hair is M21. And that's all I got.
picked her sniper. Thompson says that M21 is up, with M21 jokingly asking if she should aim for the military or SF. Thompson responds that it's no time for jokes, although as a civilian T-doll, occasional mistakes are unavoidable. M9 urgently calls Thompson, saying that they've suddenly started fighting near her, and that she wants to be picked up by her. Thompson thought that M9 said she'd be fine on her own, with M9 protesting that the military opened fire suddenly, her base was hit by shells, and that SF are everywhere. M9 begs 1911 to come and save her, and that she wins this time. All the SF units around M9 are destroyed, with M9 asking the person that destroyed them if they're one of the Griffins. Super Sass introduces herself to M9 and is hugged tightly by her. Thompson then gets Sass to go somewhere else. All the T-dolls are now in position except for Thompson, with Thompson asking the commander for aid in getting her to the spot. Back at the battle at M9's base, M9 spots the dummy of an SF ringleader. M21 snipes the dummy, with 1911 calling on Ingram to click the detonator. Thompson orders Sass to storm the control room, with SF forces retreating and military units entering the base. The group jokes around a bit while Sass gets the data. The sun rises, and the mission is over. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to follow my Twitter for updates on videos.
Alright, so before we jump into chapter 3, let's take a small break and be right back. Say like 4 minutes or so. And I'm back. Thank you for the wait. Hope everybody enjoyed this little break. I definitely needed because I was about tearing up again. Been watching the goddamn monitor again for too long time. Let's continue with chapter 3 then.
Welcome. In this video, Chapter 3, 3 Emergency, and 3 Night of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. Continuing from where Chapter 2 left off, Hellion congratulates the commander on the success of their last mission, commending their effort in killing Executioner and rooting out SF troops in the area, on top of recovering M4 and uploading a copy of her memory logs.
So we're only in chapter 3, but we already killed 2 bosses. I guess chapter 1 had Scarecrow as the last boss, and chapter 2 had Executioner as the last boss. So I would assume that in chapter 3 we're gonna meet Hunter, the third of the trio, and gonna kill him as the last boss? Question mark, something, something, something.
Now, G&K needs to push their front forward so as to eradicate the SF influence in the area. But due to limitations in their contract, G&K can't actively participate in an operation currently, but needs the commander to prepare for future ops by clearing the road. After the battle, M4 calls out to the AR team to see if anyone responds. M16 responds saying that M4's timing is good, as if she were 1 minute later, she wouldn't be reachable. M4 asks M16 what happened, with M16 explaining that a few SF units are nearby and that she'll have to turn off comms soon. M4 explains her current situation to M16, saying that she's working under a new commander. Their troops are stationed near the front line and are available for backup if needed. She then asks how AR team is doing. AR team got separated when M16 was bringing up the rear, but the rest are safe the last time they spoke to each other. M16 tells M4 to leave her for now and to find AR-15 and SOP-2 first. M4 tells M16 to take care of herself, and M16 ends the call. Hellion informs the commander.
So yeah, it's basically back to the full AR team again with M4A1 as the team leader, M16A1 as a member, AR15 and M4 sub mod, which is sub as well. So yeah, depending on how he pronounces it, M4 or sub, it's the same deal.
That M4 has reported the situations of the rest of AR team. G&K wants the commander to give reinforcements to the missing members, giving the commander assistance to a certain extent through intel. AR team can only safely evacuate if the SF comms outpost in the area is secured and shut down. Hellion asks the commander to upload the data stored at the comm outpost, as they may find valuable intel on the local ringleader. AR-15 and SOP-2 call into M4, with M4 asking if the both of them are alright. They're both fine, and they've come to rendezvous.
AR-15 on the left, M4 sub on the right.
After receiving the signal, M4 tells them both that M16 is still on the way, and that they're going to be focused on first. AR-15 confirms the meeting point and hangs up. SOP isn't happy about Star hanging up so quickly. Star tells SOP to shut up, and that the two—
Oh, and by the way, the reason it's Star, it's because it's ST AR-15.
can talk all they want after they meet up, as now isn't the time to keep up comms. SOP and Star believe that their call was being monitored, and that they're being targeted by someone dangerous. Star leaves and SOP asks where she's going. Star tells SOP to not follow her as she has something else to settle. M4 welcomes the commander and briefs them on the operation. Apart from M4, the AR team is comprised of 3 other T-Dolls, 2 of which are their current reinforcement targets. The objective for the mission is to fend off SF troops in the area so that they can move to the rendezvous point. M4 reaches the rendezvous point under the protection of G&K troops and calls into Star and SOP to see if they're there yet. SOP pops out and says that she's there, with M4 wondering where Star is. SOP explains, while trying to keep M4 calm, that their call was somehow tapped by an SF ringleader, and that Star is stopping their chase to buy them time. M4 is confused as to what they need the time for, to which SOP explains that SF troops are on their way to the control center. M4 begins to introduce SOP to the commander, but is interrupted.
Now, to be honest with you, we have 2 more characters here on the screen. The pink girl on the left and the blonde girl with the Russian white outfit on the right. I do believe they will be later introduced as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna comment on them here because, frankly speaking, they are in a different squad. But it's good to note that they are already shown here.
By SOP telling the commander that there's no time to explain and that they need to get into the car. M4 says that the commander has no plan of escaping, with SOP believing Star and her claim about SF troops invading the control center soon, and that they can't hold off so many units with just the 2 of them. M4 tells SOP that they're not on their own this time, and that the commander and all the other T-Dolls at the control center will fight with them. SOP is surprised that they finally have friends to fight with them. M4 asks SOP if they're ready to fight alongside her new friends, with SOP saying she's ready for her orders. After fending off the SF troops, SOP celebrates about driving them back and asks the commander to praise her. M4 shows a little jealousy as SOP behaves much more when under the commander's control. SOP just finds the commander, quote, more dependable. M4 tells SOP to do her best when serving under the commander, with SOP saying that she'll be good and that
Oh yeah, we are so dependable, you better be good.
she'll do whatever the commander wants if she can tear someone called Hunter to pieces. M4 asks who Hunter is. SOP explains that SP-721 Hunter is an SF ringleader in the area according to the Star's investigation.
Well, I don't even need to introduce Hunter then, because he already said what needs to be done. Hunter is model SP-721, and yeah, she is the third partner of Scarecrow and Executioner.
M4 asks where Star is. Sop says that she drew Hunter away so that she could retreat, as well as telling the commander that Hunter is a, quote, wily bastard, and Star won't last long on her own. Over where Star is, she's being taunted by Hunter, being asked if that's all she has, and that Hunter thought she'd have something up her sleeve since she came here to die alone. Star says that her carelessness put everyone at risk, believing that sacrificing herself will make up for a mistake. Hunter is astonished that Star isn't the rational and ruthless T-doll like the one in her records, but instead impulsive, believing that Star would understand Hunter. Star says her database is too superficial and that it needs to be upgraded. Star asks why they want M4 so badly. Hunter dodges the question by saying that it's not important, but what is important is that Star is going to be the bait that brings M4 to Hunter. Hellion calls the commander and gives them a new mission. Thanks to the commander, the SF ringleader, Hunter, has been identified. Hunter is highly dangerous and the commander must launch an immediate search and to make preparations for follow-up actions. The commander needs to scout the surroundings of Hunter's lair and report its defenses to HQ. While scouting, M4 receives a call from Hunter, with Hunter.
Oh yeah, so who do you have here? Oh yeah, so you might have seen before, but here it looks so much nicer. Where we are, 650. So this is Hunter's character art, like in-game. And this is her splash art. Like her splash art looks so fine compared to the character art.
Is that M4 showed up. Hunter isn't pleased that Sop is there with M4, with Hunter revealing, as they probably guess, she has Star. Sop asks Hunter if she's, quote, struggling to her last breath, bitch, with Hunter saying that it's part of her strategy. G and K can't take her territory in short notice anyways. There's no point in keeping this stalemate, and tells M4 and Sop to drop their weapons and surrender, with her briefly putting Star on the line before telling them to make a decision, and then hangs up. Sop asks if M4 has made up her mind. M4 can't abandon her friend, as if Star was in the same situation as M4, she'd do the same for her. An alarm goes off in the control center, the emergency assemble signal. Meanwhile, in the control center of Area SO9, Hellion is explaining to the commander that SF troops suddenly went out of control, taking most of the units out of action. G&K doesn't know what caused it, but it's the perfect chance to attack. The commander goes to find Hunter and finish her off. After the battle at the SF control center, Star taunts
Her art looks, in her art, she looks so devastated. Like, it's so unbelievable, devastated. I don't know. Like, what the fuck is happening over here?
Hunter about her unsightly defeat. Hunter is puzzled as to how all of this happened, with Star revealing that she modified Hunter's command from within her own system, causing the malfunction. Hunter calls her out, saying it's impossible without SF authorization. Star says it's a skill she picked up without even noticing, and maybe that she's actually special, asking what
I was about to say the same thing. Like, maybe she is special. You're so special.
Hunter thinks. Hunter thinks that Star let herself get caught, with Star saying that Hunter said it herself. Quote, a true hunter would have chosen to remain silent, with Star silencing Hunter forever. An hour later at the rendezvous point, Sop spots Star and is ecstatic to see her. Star scolds Sop and M4 for taking their time, with her being in there if Star was counting on them. M4 is glad Star is safe. Star asks M4 if she was really going to trade herself for Star if the malfunction didn't happen. M4 isn't sure herself. Star doesn't care what M4 thinks, and that, as the leader, M4 shouldn't make stupid decisions next time. Everyone has their responsibilities, and sometimes that means that they don't have a choice. Not to mention, M16 is still needing rescue. M4 apologizes and says that she'll think things through next time. Sop teases Star, with Star threatening to shut Sop up for good. M4 sighs and says that only M16 is left. 3 emergencies, the usual clearing of SF forces, but this time the objective is to capture military hard drives that SF is using.
Okay, a little bit of spoilers. We already know that Hunter is on the left. On the right, who her face is not shown yet, but she has a huge gun. She is Intruder, and her model, the gun, is SP914. She is the trios, like all the trees, Scarecrow's, Executioner, and Hunter's partner.
Only in the final stage of 3 emergency is the contents of the hard drives revealed. Hunter talks to an unknown figure, with the figure calling Griffin fools for still keeping the data from Safe House 3 and M4, with Griffin having no clue about Parapuli or Relique. Hunter washes her hands of the situation and goes back to hunting. The figure she's talking to is identified as Intruder, calling Hunter savage for her acts. Hunter retorts, saying that she doesn't want to wait for her death while sitting on a chair in a gown. Intruder calls Hunter a chess piece. A sacrifice is all she'll ever be. Hunter is fine with it, as long as it means getting away from her. Intruder plans a spectacular finale, and Hunter calls her sick with her obsession with finales, then hangs up. 3 Nights starts with Makarov welcoming the commander with a salute.
Obsession with finales, like, is she some kind of a maniac, or like Michael Bay, or like Sparkle wannabe, or what? Now, with that said, hopping right into the night maps of Chapter 3, we're gonna be introduced to Squad Palette, which consists of these girls. On the right, you can see Makarov with the white hair and the blue Russian outfit. She is a temporary member of the Palette Squad. And in the middle, where we can see the splash art of the blonde girl with the white Russian outfit, is actually a younger version, because we will have an older version as well. She is M1895, or in other words, Nagant, the revolver. She is also playable in Girls Frontline 2.
And calling the mission ahead a disgrace in itself. M1895.
And with that said, I'm gonna spoil it because it's gonna come along as well. We will soon be introduced to M1891 as well, to Mosin Nagant, namely, and she will be the older sister of Nagant, the revolver over here. The looks are the same, it's just she will be an older version of her, because she is also blonde, she is also in a white Russian outfit, etc. So, younger one, older one. That's that.
Interjects, asking how it's a disgrace when they're going to rescue a veteran with a very extensive history. Makarov continues by explaining that the rescue target this time is Nagant M1895, and that it's impossible to not know about her, as well as finding it hard to understand the point of rescuing a, quote, old, weak, noisy, and commonplace T-doll. M1895 threatens to demote Makarov. However, during their last operation, M1895 inadvertently discovered an important object that needs to be brought back to HQ. M1895 tells Makarov to hurry up, as she's hiding in an SF warehouse. Makarov asks for some info on the warehouse, but M1895 doesn't know, as she rushes in to hide from SF units. The commander now must join up with the T-doll station in the area to rescue M1895.
So basically, she calls back home to base. This is, help! I'm stuck in enemy warehouse! Where? I don't know, just come help!
Join up with the
And here we
T-doll
are.
station in the area to rescue M1895. Makarov reaches her destination and calls.
And ulala, here we have her older sister, Mosin Nagant. Or again, M1891. Also, the pink hair doll, which we can see here, and we saw it back in the camp, is SKS, I believe. Yep, she is SKS, or commonly known as Simonov. And Oh my god, this is AK-47. I don't even need to look it up. Like, that is strikingly AK-47.
Calls Mosin the gun. Mosin says that she sent 2 T-dolls to meet up with them, and that they should be there any minute. Makarov is confused as to Mosin not coming. Mosin says that all elite T-dolls have been set out to provide backup on the military's request, while forcing laughter. In other words, Makarov says, the T-dolls being sent aren't very good. Makarov overhears the voices of 2 T-dolls approaching, and sighs at the fact that it's AK-47 and SKS, both greeting Makarov warmly. Makarov tells them to both screw off, with 47 saying to not be so cold as they're still seasoned veterans. Makarov wants infiltrators, not a pair of crazy Ivans. SKS says that they didn't trigger a single alarm on their way there because they shot everyone full of holes who saw them. Makarov tells them to behave, and if they don't want to be cannon fodder, they must obey her orders. Now that the mission has officially commenced, the commander must take the local SF outpost to locate the warehouse they're looking for. After securing the outpost, Makarov starts decoding the data and tells SKS to get her a chair. SKS scoffs and says they weren't even able to find a doorknob. Where would they even find a chair? 47 asks how the SF units can bear staying here, with SKS telling her that it's only for the lower ranks. Makarov tells the two to shut up, with SKS asking Makarov if she's not at least a little interested in the origin and objective of the SF dolls. Makarov doesn't care, as they're just a threat to GNK's interests and they need to be destroyed. Since Makarov knows OTS-14, she must know some of the insider story.
Wait a minute. So Makarov knows OTS-14, but we know that OTS-14 is none fucking other than Blood-damn fucking Groza. Because Groza is OTS-14, and we were introduced to Groza first in this game. Groza and Nemesis were our first 2 characters, and Krolik was the 3rd one. Krolik came 3rd when we had our first gacha pool. It was a fixed pool. Similarly in Honkai Star Rail, our first gacha pool is Asta. Here in our first gacha pool was Krolik, the bunny girl with the sword and shield. But Groza and Nemesis were the 2 base characters that we started with in Girls Frontline 2. So I'm actually surprised that Groza is already coming up here in Girls Frontline 1. Because OTS-14 has got to be Groza.
Makarov finishes their work and tells the others to hurry up, not telling them anything whatsoever. Makarov has confirmed M1895's whereabouts, and they must rescue her immediately. Their target is a warehouse abandoned by SF, as they probably remember. The trio enters the warehouse that M1895 is in and begins searching. 47 finds her and shouts over to Makarov that she's over where she is, but her brain and eyes are damaged. SKS hears a noise. 47 believes that SF has found them. Makarov says they're just probing to find where they are. SF reaches the warehouse. 47 and SKS say they'll dry their fire while M1895 and Makarov make a run for it. Makarov tells her to stop being heroic, but 47 has no interest in being heroic, not wanting to stand there and do nothing, with SKS wanting to repay a debt and look cool in the G&K battle records. Makarov tells the two if they want to look good in the records, they need to go back alive and write them themselves. Makarov explodes something in the background, saying it's their last stroke of luck and to not waste it. The SF didn't even have time to run from the explosion, with Makarov managing to explode the powder keg storage that was right next to where the SF units were standing. SKS asks what M1895 is clutching. M1895 doesn't know and just took it because it had a G&K logo on it. Makarov gathers the others and asks the commander to lead them out of the battlefield. 5 hours after the end of the op, and outside...
Wait. She picked up something that had our GNK logo on it.
Because it had a GNK logo on it. Makarov gathers the others and asks the commander to lead them out of the battlefield. 5 hours after the end of the op, and outside the conference room at GNK HQ, Groza and Mosin Nagant are talking. Groza asks how Mosin is doing as they're still rambling in the conference room. Mosin says she'll
Okay, so it's confirmed. Groza and Mosin Nagant are conversing.
be fine. Groza believes that Mosin must be bored out of her mind standing there, while worrying about her sister. Mosin says that Makarov is on it, so there's no reason to worry despite there being no news. Groza mentions that the area used to be an important base for SF, and to not worry as Hellion has also sent a commander to help them. Mosin tells Groza to hush as she doesn't want the military to hear it. Mosin is grateful for Hellion dispatching the commander to help rescue M1895. M1895 makes it back and asks if Mosin missed her, with 47 and SKS saying that they're tired, but seeing the reunion makes it worthwhile. Mosin asks where Makarov is, as she's not there. M1895 tells Mosin that she went to report something to Hellion, and that she took the thing that M1895 has found. To
Oh yeah, with the logo.
M1895's knowledge,
Our logo.
it's just a normal communicator. Meanwhile, in Hellion's office, Hellion tells Makarov that she and the commander will receive commendations for their work. Makarov asks what's so special about the device. Hellion says that it's an item left behind by Star, believing that SF may have tampered with it. 16 Lab wants to study it, as it may be the key to their victory. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates, and check out my archive.
Well, chapter 3 was interesting. Let's see what chapter 4 has to offer. But before that, let's do something quick, what we can. Yeah, let's do this in the background, like I did previously. And this time, let's not forget to turn on the auto mode, so it actually clears. And let's not also forget to switch back the scene after I started it. There we go. Switching back the scene. And let's continue with chapter 4. I'm actually gonna skip the intro this time.
Continuing from where Chapter 3 left off, Hellion congratulates the commander on a job well done, after defeating Hunter and giving G&K a chance to restore human settlement. But things need to keep moving, with Hellion explaining to the commander that their next mission is to help a team of T-Dolls investigate hidden files in Area SO9 that contain important SF plans. Said team was ambushed and the commander needs to provide cover for them. Elsewhere, at an abandoned SF
I almost forgot again. Freaking captions.
outpost, UMP-45 and HK-416 arrive at their destination 20 minutes ahead of schedule.
So yeah, UMP-45. We already know that she is Kukley, HK-416.
45 teases 416 to thank the commander with all she's got. 416 brushes her off and asks if they're at the right place. 45 confirms that it's the same place that AR team fought with Agent, and that 416 can save her where that pal of hers suffered. 416 threatens 45 and finishes recovering the data that has Agent's coordinates, and asks 45 to call back UMP-9 so that they can continue their pursuit. 416 looks a bit longer for data about her pal, with 45 leaving to go check up on 9. Back in the TAC center, Hellion informs the commander of the new SF ringleader they're dealing with named Intruder. She's a newer model, and because of that, there's no info about her whatsoever. From an investigation, it was found that Intruder specializes in giving commands. The commander now must block a reinforcement route to prevent them from pouring into the battlefield. Out at the field base, M16 calls into M4, telling M4 that she managed to find a depot and that she still has some business to attend to. M4 asks what business she has and when she's coming back, with M16 dodging the question and hanging up. Saab asks M4 if there's any news from M16. Before she can answer, a public broadcast is made. Intruder is the one making the broadcast.
Yep, so now we can actually see her face. This is Intruder. Like, she is the same character that we were shown earlier, without her face, with the massive gun. She looks kind of beautiful, her face.
Saying that they should focus on the task at hand instead of waiting for news from M16. Star didn't expect Intruder to appear so soon, with Intruder explaining that it wouldn't be polite of her if she didn't entertain her guests, further explaining that the reinforcements were only one of many that she has. Without thinking,
Also, I just noticed, and I kind of see the pattern here. Just like in Chapter Three's end, as we suspected, Hunter was the main boss and got shot by STAR-15 specifically. Like, it's not hard to imagine that this is gonna be this. I mean, under this, I mean, Intruder is gonna be the boss of Chapter 4.
M4 tells Intruder that they'll be targeting their defenses next. Intruder believes that her master will object to it, but she welcomes them regardless. M4 asks the commander to give them the order to attack as they're already at her door. At M16's hiding spot, M16 sits atop a dead SF soldier, having just been helped by 416. M16 saw her coming, but tells 416 that she must have some reason for killing someone other than SF units. 416 says that with her rights as part of Squad 404, she can attack any T-Doll that hinders her action, friend or enemy. M16 says 416 is jealous and is immediately told to shut up, being reminded of the price she has to pay. 416 was never glad about her authorization until this moment, with M16 being fond of her back in national security. 416 knows that M16 can't run this time. Once again in the TAC center, Hellion tells the commander that the team in charge of the mission has cut off their comms, and that the commander needs to find their whereabouts.
Damn, those freaking comms are cut off so often now these days. Just like at some places, the internet, I guess. Some things just never change.
Hellion reminds the commander to be weary of Intruder, as she's known for her plots and schemes. Back over at M16's hiding spot, M16 and 416 have just finished fighting. 416 believed herself to be the more outstanding T-Doll, but M16 explains that she falls short in experience, reaction, and training. 416 thinks that M16 is making excuses, asking what she is to M16. M16 explains that 416 has nothing on her, being worthless, boring, and nothing to her. 416 hates that M16 is always self-assured no matter the situation, asking her while screaming if she ever has a weak moment. Quote, "No T-Doll is completely emotionless. That's the problem," M16 says, before asking for 416 to stand aside as M4 is waiting for her. 416 believes she's found M16's weakness, with M16 threatening 416 to keep her mouth shut. M4 calls Intruder, asking where M16 is, asking what her objective is as G&K has already entered her territory, yet she hasn't launched a single counterattack. Intruder is surprised that M4 got frightened by her doing nothing, but tells M4 that the order she's received is to kill some time. M4 is confused as to why that's an order she received, and jokingly invites M4 to, quote, her tea house to sit down and enjoy a nice cup of tea with her. M4 says they'll meet very soon, as the Squad G&K sent has traced the coordinates left behind. Back over at M16's hiding spot, M16 asks if UMP-45 is not here to finish after 416. 45 explains that she's just here to pick up 416 while heading home. M16 calls
Yeah, UMP-45. Oh, I'm just here to pick her up and head home. Don't mind me.
45 gutsy for operating alone, as her team isn't big to begin with. 45 tells her that 9 is more than enough to handle the mission, and 416 is along for a holiday. M16 laughs at 416, thinking breaking her legs is her idea of a vacation. 45 says that 416 is just a bit upset, which is why M16 spared her, and why 45 is sparing M16. 45 tells M16 that her being spared would be wasted if she goes back immediately, with her whispering into M16's ear, "It's raining on the plane," after M16 asks what she learned during her mission. M16 doesn't understand, with 45 explaining that their comms logs intercepted through infiltration. 41,960 results yielded, including mentions of defense that contradicts basic battle strategies, showing a comparison chart. M16 tells her to dumb it down for her, but 45 refuses and tells her that her creator would be more interested in it than her. 45 takes her leave and says if anyone asks about Squad 404, tell them they were wiped out. Hellion tells the commander that the squad
Okay, so a lot of things to unpack here. Squad 404 is a thing that we will discuss, I think, in after chapter 5. And yeah, the interaction between UMP45, HK416, or other names, Kukley, and M14 is quite interesting. Also, yeah, I don't know why it needs to be confidential. About Squad 404, but the name is funny because 404 is missing, not found. So Squad 404 is the missing squad, I guess, the unknown squad. Which, by the way, UMP 45 is the leader of. It was mentioned in Chapter 0, like at the prologue, like at the very beginning, where she has a brown haired. She is the brown haired girl with the black coat and the yellow armband. UMP 45.
Squad has suddenly gone missing, making an emergency alteration to the operation strategy. The mission of killing Intruder is now entrusted to the commander, but thankfully the squad left behind markings and routes to use as a reference. When Intruder is defeated, all of Area SO9 will be recovered. The battle finishes, and M4 looms over Intruder, telling her that it's over.
Oh yeah, what a surprise. Intruder was the boss of Chapter 4.
Intruder is still happy about the outcome as she still accomplished her mission. Intruder's mission was to kill time, more specifically G&K's time. This gave plenty of time for SF to make their preparation, with, quote, the real show beginning in no time. As Intruder passes, M4 attempts to interrogate her body, asking where M16 is. M16 appears, making M4 almost speechless. M4 slaps the injured M16, presumably being angry about her being missing for so long. M4 asks how she made it back, with M16 saying that she'll tell her later.
Damn, the MIA reward after not being MIA is a slap. Good job, M16. M16. Wow.
As she has something important to say to the commander. At the field base, M16 introduces herself to the commander and says that they're in big trouble, repeating what 45 told her, it's raining on the plane. And for emergency, AR team is tasked with going to different databases in areas they've already been to, and recovering the data within the databases. In the first database, they find a file that says they are in your house, with M4 theorizing it may have something to do with a T-Dolls neural cloud. The second audio file says they are in your car, third saying they are in the skies, and fourth saying now they're coming for you. M4 combines the four files together, with the result making a video file. The video file has to do with their last op, a complete record of everything they've done, with who did it, how they did it, and why they did it being unknown. M4 gives the file to the commander, and it unlocks Chapter 0. And for a night, someone named RO has a run-in with Type 92, who tells RO that all...
Okay, so gameplay-wise and game mechanic-wise, I guess after you do the Chapter 4 ER or emergency missions, you get to unlock Chapter 0, which is after the prologue, which was discussed in the first video. I got that correctly? Or is it something completely else? Whatever the case, we are now shown this character model, which is Type 92, the pinkish outfit girl. Well, she has the same kind of Russian outfit, almost like a hippie, not even hippie, like a hippie disco pinkish Russian outfit, whatever you're gonna call it. Yeah. And since I have paused the video, I already gotta say that we're gonna also be introduced to AAT 52 as well. She will be a smaller framed girl with green hair.
Personnel assigned to her this time are notorious punks, Type 92 included. RO tells Type 92 to stop calling her commander, as she's just a T-doll with a temp authorization. Getting to the mission, a teammate of theirs found a lead on something called Document 36, but triggered an SF alarm and needs help escaping. The two go to rescue the stranded T-doll, who 92 says is a 7 out of 10 on annoyance. 92 reaches the trapped T-doll, who's revealed to be AAT-52, who thanks 92 for not just leaving her. RO asks what 10 out of 10 is for 92, with 92 saying it's a dead teammate. RO just wants the info 52 has, with her quickly telling that Doc 36 is being held onto by a human who stayed behind. 92 thought all humans evacuated the area, but RO believes 52 as there are humans who went missing during the evac, possibly staying behind to move the docks around before SF made it to the settlement. 92 hopes that they'll hand it over, as without authorization from a superior, G and K T-dolls can't get violence towards humans.
What? So without authorization, G and K dolls can get violence towards humans. Wait, so what is the human population in this world setting? Because everything looks post-apocalyptic, like I wasn't even sure if there are actually that many humans around. That's number one. Number two, does that mean with proper authorization, G and K dolls can in fact get violent towards humans? And if so, why? Or how come? Interesting. So many questions.
The two move to find the human with Doc 36. The humans who
Also, yeah, this document 36 is also something I don't know anything about, but it was mentioned in the first video as well, or at least hinted. Somewhere, somehow, it was mentioned. Along this document 36, and another thing was mentioned as well, which was I'm trying to remember. Okay, maybe I need to cheat a little bit. What was mentioned? Oh yeah, parapluie. The plan parapluie was also hinted and mentioned, which we will find out later what the flip each of these are. I hope it at least.
stay behind are located in a shelter nearby, with RO being confident in her ability to make the human tell her where the document is. 92 is a little doubtful, but is reassured by RO as she says there won't be any unexpected circumstances. The team reaches the shelter, with 52 calling out to the humans and getting no response. 92 notices that there was some sort of danger, meaning that the humans switch locations at short notice. There's no sign of the document, and RO struggles to figure out what to do in the situation, as 92 and 52 attempt to comfort her. Sten calls into RO, with RO forgetting who she is and getting scolded by 92 for forgetting her teammates. Sten reports that she found a human that hasn't evacuated, being located in an office of a certain department store. RO asks Sten to get in touch with the human, but she's unable as he locked himself inside the building and is rejecting all communication. RO assumes he's looking for Doc 36, so that he may destroy it, meaning that they may have to hurry to his location. Sten also discovered a large machine that SF is setting up, but is unable to tell what purpose it serves. Sten lays low while RO and the others head to the office. RO's team arrives at the location and is immediately targeted by an explosion. The huge machine Sten was talking about was an SF mortar, with RO remembering the firing pattern before, as AR team encountered it. Sten reports that the building was hit and the human is seriously injured and unconscious. RO tells Sten to grab the document while they take care of the human. Sten finds Doc 36 with RO telling her to bring it back. Sten refuses as the human gave her an order to destroy the document. RO and Sten argue back and forth, with it being revealed that the man is the leader of a crime syndicate. Just as RO convinces Sten to bring the document back, an explosion goes off and the communication is cut. RO is cut off from the rest of the squad. Hopeless, RO asks AR-15 what she would do in the situation. A voice calls out to RO, saying that AR-15 can't help her, but she can. The voice is Makarov, who makes a time.
Ah, okay. Now it makes sense. I was wondering who could it be. It's not someone new. It's someone who we know.
Arrival. With Makarov by her side, RO is able to neutralize the SF signal outpost, with Makarov telling RO to hurry as the artillery may fire again at any second. While searching, Makarov floats the idea of the G and K T-dolls being the targets, as all of the shots hit RO's team members. RO gets hit by another shell, and a recording of Star starts playing. Star says that she can't ever return to AR team, with that being the way things are, and if she doesn't see her next time, then the worst has happened. Star apologizes, and the video ends. The three other members recover RO from under a pile of rubble, with RO thinking that she's in heaven. The other three were able to recover RO as more GNKT dolls drew SF soldiers away from their location. Makarov calls to see if RO is still alive, which she confirms. As they make their way back to the base, RO swears that she'll make SF pay for the destruction they've caused. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates and check out my other Azure Lane and Arknights videos as well.
Okay, so all the way up to chapter 4 now. Let's see how the run is going on the other end. I guess it's done. Also, yeah. What else is there? Ah yes, the combat simulations. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start the combat simulation, turn on auto, and back to chapter 5. Okay, so let's start chapter 5. I'm gonna skip the intro again.
Continuing on from Chapter 4, Hellion and the Commander finally meet face to face at a secret GNK base. Hellion fills the Commander in on why they were called there, with her explaining that Persica pieced together some keywords from the intel that AR team got from Safehouse 3.
I'm actually gonna not skip go back and forth with the scenes. I'm just gonna in the background do the combat exercise 3 times after it's done, while we just keep watching and listening to the lore of chapter 5.
SF is plotting to initiate an unknown plan called Parapuli, and no matter how it's implemented, it will pose an immense threat.
Ah, yeah, it's mentioned here again, the Parapuli plan, which I'm kind of gonna spoil it a little bit here. All I know about that is that it's some sort of computer virus, and it's heavily affected many of the main T-dolls in our GNF organization. It's not GNF, it's um, give me a second. GNK. And it also is responsible, like the enemy faction, the SF faction, has huge plans with it. That's basically all I know about it.
To GNK, which is why Kruger has matter how it's implemented, it will pose an immense threat to plan
Just
called
quickly
from
rewind.
Safehouse 3. SF is plotting to initiate an unknown plan called Parapuli, and no matter how it's implemented, it will pose an immense threat to GNK, which is why Kruger has called an emergency meeting at the secret base to discuss countermeasures. Since the secret base isn't far from the commander's control center, Hellion wants the commander to participate in a drill to test the efficiency of GNKT dolls and to update the HQ database. After the drill finishes, MP40 comes up to the commander to tell them that the drill went smoothly, as well as passing on a message.
Okay, MP40 is what you can see on screen right now. The short blonde haired girl with the black German uniform. She is, yeah, she and 3 other dolls will be introduced here. They are all part of Squad M99, where never mind, I'm sorry, wrong section of my notes. So this is actually the Griffin's Expendables squad, which is a provisional team of rookie dolls like greenhorns, like newcomers, who are only active during this Continuum Turbulence event, which is around this time, I guess. Rescued 9A91's team, Thompson's team, and MP40's logistics squad was and it was under the leadership of HK 416 or Kukley. Those are the informations we have so far. And MP40 over here is one of these new rookies from the provisional team.
From Hellion to meet her at Control Room 3 for the meeting. The control room is very similar to the TAC center of Area S09. M4 calls into the commander saying that from the info they got while patrolling the area, the secret base isn't safe right now. Static begins interfering with the call with only bits and pieces of M4 saying that they are rushing to the commander's current location and asking if the commander heard a noise. Suddenly, an explosion occurs with sweltering heat and a deafening tremor crashing into the room. M4 asks through the static what's happening there, with the commander being hit in the back of the head. The commander loses consciousness in the midst of M4's cries.
We have a concussion.
The commander begins to come to, and is woken by someone telling them that they've had enough sleep. It's Kruger. He tells the commander that only a rifle fell on them, with SF forces pouring into the base behind him. Kruger introduces himself and asks if the commander can still fight, handing the commander a Makarov. He explains that they've been ambushed and that he wants the commander to mount a resistance to fight off SF and make sure that reinforcements are in position. The commander limps over to the control panel and inspects it for damage. It's ready for use, and the commander deploys troops to mount a counterattack. G&K T-Dolls appear to have gained the upper hand. The commander leaves the room and hurries to where the T-Dolls have assembled, but not before hearing a voice call out to them. It's M4. She asks if the commander is okay, explaining that she was worried about the commander, but feels better now that she knows they're safe. Kruger appears again, telling the commander that they have something to talk about, with M4 saying that she'll have AR team members on standby before running off. Before starting, Kruger tells the commander that M4 is a special T-Doll and to keep her safe, and she'll show her worth someday. Kruger praises the commander for how well they did, but SF will press forward again soon. The meeting was confidential, the base was a total secret, but SF was able to launch a precise attack against G&K, so intel must have been leaked from within. Hellion is put on the case, and the commander is told to come with him. 5 minutes later, where the T-Dolls are standing by, MP40 is telling the dolls to let those who are carrying small arms pass through first, as well as telling FNC to finish her ice cream before joining the queue, and that she doesn't qualify.
Ah yes, the magical ice cream. It was all about the ice cream all along. Like, all the way from chapter 0 to chapter 5, it was all about the fucking ice cream, I swear. Just like how CG11 numbed and gobbled up all the chocolate ice cream. It's always about the ice cream. JK.
Has a small arm just because she's short. Star grows impatient as everyone else has orders but AR team. M16 tells her to calm down as they'll have a big job soon due to the commander going off with Kruger. M4 believes that there will be second raid soon as the SF ringleader hasn't shown herself. Sop wants another showdown. M16 state that it's weird for SF to spring a surprise attack so suddenly, with Star saying that it's a perfect chance to settle the score, before mumbling, "Time is running out." Back to the commander, Kruger, and Hellion. Hellion reports to Kruger that the results of the preliminary investigation are out. They've traced the leak to an abandoned command post in the vicinity of the HQ, with Hellion being certain that it's where the SF ringleader receives intel and directs the attack, with G&K being ready to raid it at any time. Kruger directly tells the commander to mount a raid on the command post and to destroy or capture the SF ringleader hiding there. Over at the abandoned command post, AR team breaches in. Sop shouts that it's empty, with Star quieting her down and telling her to watch her surroundings. M4 calls an all clear, with M16 noticing footprints on the floor, believing the ringleader just gave them the slip.
Okay, so is it all clear, or is there still somebody here because of the footprint, or they just give the slip, so they just escaped, I assume.
A call comes through telling them that they left 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, 30 minutes ago. And by the way, on screen, I believe we are seeing also another boss right now who is called Destroyer. Now, fun fact, Destroyer's model is based around the SP5 Nano, which is, I don't know about you guys, but this doesn't scream about SP5 or any Nano for that matter, because she has two huge fucking guns. Two massive guns. And I'm gonna just spill the beans here, because Destroyer has an alternate form as Gaia, and even has another form called Cerberus, which is like, Gaia is like a more adult version of her, and Cerberus is like a little robot version of her, just based on the pictures I've seen. I didn't read anything else, but this is how the information was there, so I had to know what's the difference. And yeah, let's continue.
Ringleader introduces herself as Destroyer, saying it's nice to see them even though it's just a call. Destroyer was going to take her plan further at the command post while things were a mess, but didn't expect for G&K to find her or move so fast. M4 tells Destroyer that G&K is on high alert now, so she won't be receiving any more intel from her mole. Destroyer doesn't care and calls the T-Dolls dumbasses for not being able to figure it out, taunting them saying that, quote, they won't be able to do a thing before hanging up. M16 asks if her call can be traced, with M4 responding that it can barely be tracked, but there's a lot of encrypted data that can't be tracked right away. Sop calls Destroyer an idiot for not knowing they're tracing her, with Star suggesting that they should retreat and report the encounter ASAP. Hellion reports to the commander that Kruger is very happy with their performance, with the ringleader not being able to go very far, and she'll send someone to find her whereabouts. In the meantime, there's another mission. The commander is to give some of the trapped G&K forces a hand against the SF forces. After the battle, IDW thanks the commander for the rescue. M16 asks if that was the last batch.
Okay, IDW is the blonde cat-ear girl here on the right side, at least character model wise. And IDW is with Squad Valrod, which we also had a reference to. Who else was in Squad Valrod? Give me a sec. I believe we also seen someone from that same squad. Yeah, it was Sten Mark II from Chapter 1. She was also a former member of the Valrod squad. Other than that, IDV, the weapon's name is also known as Betty, with the double T, Betty. Betty or Betty, I don't know which is pronounced or how it's pronounced, but Betty. And yeah, that's all I got.
And Star asks if they can go home yet. M4 tells Star that HQ is still searching for the mole leaking info, so everybody is on standby. Stop complains that T-Doll shouldn't leak secrets, but M4 tells her they're their orders, so they'll have to put up with it for a while. Hellion appears and says she has an announcement to make. After screening, they've discovered a T-Doll that has been processing an abnormal amount of information. Tactical Doll AR-15 of AR Team. When scanning their database, they found a substantial anomaly in the server traffic generated by Star while uploading info. They are shutting down her communication module, and security officers will escort her to the confinement room for further screening. M16 is in
Without even looking into it deeply, I have a sneaky suspicion that Star is gonna be something special. Like maybe she is gonna be at least in one point have a different version of herself where we will have to fight against her. Like this is just a whole setup to be happening just for that. It seems so like the dots are here and we just need to connect them.
Disbelief. Sop begins to yell that they've got the wrong person. Star calms her down by saying that they can't disobey orders no matter how loud they yell, and it's just screening. They're not saying she's the culprit for sure. M4 tells Star that she believes her, with Star telling them to not mess up before leaving with Hellion. Back in the temporary control room, Hellion tells the commander that they're certain that Star has been planted with an SF program before she regrouped with the team. They've shut down her comms module to cut off all external data transfers, but they're still screening for IDs in her program to root out the code. There's no plan to dismantle Star given how valuable she is. Instead, they'll be using her to determine the source of the virus and prevent it from happening again.
And they wanted to dismantle her? The fuck is wrong with them?
Thanks to AR team, there's another chance of locating Destroyer, but just in case, G&K needs more sources of info to confirm her location. The commander sends troops into SF territory to collect more info. After providing cover for troops entering the territory, M4 calls the commander saying that AR team has reached their destination undercover, have almost finished collecting the info, and are requesting further direction. Sop is still down about Star, questioning why they have modules that stimulate emotions. M16 ponders what it's like in the beginning, before being cut off by M4 saying that the commander wants them to retreat once the info is collected. M4 asks if Sop is okay. Sop responds that she doesn't know, as AR team only just got back together after going through so much. M4 reassures Sop that Star won't be disarmed and will be back very soon. M16 is pleased by this, or else the next time they see Star will be at the cafe or the coal mines. M16 then receives an emergency broadcast. Hellion is the one broadcasting.
What do you mean by the cafe or the coal mines?
Pleased by this, or else the next time they see Star will be at the cafe or the coal mines. M16 then receives an emergency broadcast. Hellion is the one broadcasting, saying it's an urgent announcement. Star disobeyed orders from G&K High Command and left the base without permission. All field commanders and T-Dolls are to restrain her on site, and if need be, they have permission to damage Star if the situation calls for it.
Ah yeah, the rebellious phase of its Star.
Hellion repeats the broadcast again. Star of AR team disobeyed the order of returning to the confinement room 5 minutes ago, breaking free of her restraints and escaping from the vicinity of the base with her whereabouts being unknown. Star is suspected of being infected and controlled by an SF virus and is highly dangerous, on top of her comms module being deactivated. If the situation calls for it, field commanders have permission to attack or destroy her. M4 calls into the commander, asking what they do now. They'll carry out their orders, whatever it may be, so don't hesitate to issue commands. M16 asks M4 what the commander said, to which he responds with, quote, "No matter what, find AR-15 first." SOP has located Destroyer's newest coordinates using the info they collected, and since they haven't reported their findings yet, they can get there before anyone else. M4 asks what good it does to locate Destroyer. M16 asks M4 if she really believes that Star is under SF control, and that there isn't a possibility that she fled on her own volition because there's something that she absolutely had to do. M4 finds it hard to understand that, as a T-Doll, how could Star disobey orders to avenge herself?
She is special.
M16 says that she'll learn someday, but not today. SOP asks the commander to give the order so that AR team can break through SF's last defense and get to Destroyer and Star. In the abandoned control center, Destroyer calls Dreamer, telling her that she.
Ah yes, on the left side we can see a new SF quote-unquote enemy boss, namely Dreamer, as he mentioned. Dreamer is based around the model SPACA, or Spaka, or however you want to call it.
GNK's moving much quicker than expected, asking Dreamer to stop them with her firepower. Dreamer asks why. Destroyer tells her that it's the deal they made. Once her mission is accomplished, Dreamer will cover her retreat with air support. Dreamer asks if she's completed the mission, with Destroyer responding that the assassination attempt on Kruger failed, which was to be expected, but the program planted into Star is working, as she found the data concerning Safe House 3 in her neural cloud, with all info for Plan Parapuli being ready. Dreamer then asks Destroyer that, since the mission is accomplished, what's the point in keeping her? Since they're T-dolls, that pretty much means they're disposable goods, and Dreamer doesn't want to waste her resources on picking up trash. Destroyer is taken aback by this, with Dreamer continuing to say that even if Destroyer dies, she'll come back to life soon enough, forgetting everything she had to do with Dreamer, then will take orders again, like a puppy. Destroyer says she won't believe Dreamer ever again, with Dreamer asking if she believes this is the first time that it's happened. Destroyer cusses her out before Dreamer says that she was just kidding and to stop crying, as Agent installed a key code for accepting the file transfer on Destroyer in case Dreamer starts messing around. Dreamer has already begun to attack AR
Wow, Agent is cautious, I see.
team, leaving Destroyer 10 minutes to get out of there, but Dreamer will dump her for real next time if Destroyer gets trapped again. Dreamer finds
I will dump you for real next time. You better remember that, kid. Wow, the Dreamer looks kind of crazy as well on the splash art.
Star nearby, with Star asking how did Dreamer notice her, with Dreamer responding that whoever controls the skies controls everything. Dreamer asks if Star was waiting for GNK to shut down her comms module just to pull a sneak attack on them, with Star confirming this. Dreamer then asks why, as a T-doll, did Star go through such lengths to disobey her employers. Star asks Dreamer if she thinks she'd forgive her for using her to acquire info and put her friends in danger. Dreamer tells Star to not get worked up.
Wait. So, how? But why are they communicating like this? Feels so odd.
Star knew it all along that she was the source of the leak, and if she told her friends earlier, Destroyer's plans would have failed.
Yeah, okay, so she knew she was the mole, unintentionally the mole. Okay.
Star tells her to believe what she wants, as her current actions have nothing to do with G&K orders. Dreamer believes that Star doesn't understand, telling Star that she was chosen, asking if she remembers the ability they gifted Star. Star begins to realize what had been happening.
So she is
with
special.
Dreamer taunting Star to put up more of a fight to see if their death throws make things better or worse. Star says she'll keep fighting until she gets to the bottom of everything. Dreamer asks if she's willing to betray an entire organization for her friend's sake, and if she should applaud such sentiments. Star is only doing this because it's an order she was given as a T-doll. She will not betray those who accepted her, even if it costs her home. She will step on SF's broken faces and choke out all their conspiracies one by one. 5 Emergency chronicles the rest of AR team trying to find AR-15 and Destroyer. They retreat from where Destroyer was hiding under a hail of strong artillery, almost shoot Kruger at an abandoned command post when they
Almost shoot Kruger. Okay, whatever that means for Kruger.
were looking for information, finding a copy of Star's neural cloud that she left behind that matches 404's previous discovery, where SF plans on wiping out GNK once and for all with their next plan.
So not
and
much
Kruger
happening
telling
on the
Hellion
emergency
to
maps.
report all fit T-dolls for battle, as it's GNK's turn to
And what
make a
about the
move
night
now.
maps?
5 Night starts with Hellion telling the commander that Persica's technical analysis on something called Jupiter is almost complete.
Yeah, okay, so here we have the new characters in the new squad. Squad M99, specifically, where M99 is the girl on the right with the big ass forehead ribbon. She is the team leader of the squad. And on the left, we have Type 97 with the shotgun, the brown haired girl with the school uniform. Also, fun fact that this character, Type 97, is actually gonna be a playable character in Girls Frontline 2, namely Kyuha. I'm butchering the name like hell. Qiuhua.
and that they'll be able to launch a full-scale counter-strike soon, but the commander has been summoned for a different reason. She then calls in M99. M99 explains to the commander that SF has been wreaking havoc on G&K territories with the Jupiter, which poses a severe threat to the safety of human settlements. Even supply routes and storehouses have been jeopardized,
Hi,
which
Char.
hinders their efforts in bringing supplies to said local settlements.
Jupiter name that triggered flashback. I mean, good for you. Let me know what flashbacks did it triggered, because I never played it, so I'm just trying to catch up lore-wise. Was it a good one, or was it a PTSD type of one? Because each of those are flashbacks. It just depends if it's the better or the worst kind. Like, I have some very memorable flashbacks as well from many games, and I also have some flashbacks that still gives me the chills and PTSD. Welcome to the stream as well. Flashbacks of entire team getting wiped by long distance laser. Okay, so it's a PTSD type. Gotcha.
But G&K
Sounds fun. Sounds real fun getting wiped out by a laser.
HQ has decided to send a squad to a storehouse that came under Jupiter attack so they can salvage surviving supplies and get them to a nearby town.
Ah yes, I see. So that was the Jupiter's attack. Let's see it again.
But G&K HQ has decided to send a squad to a storehouse that came under Jupiter attack so they can salvage surviving supplies and get them to a nearby town.
Okay.
Hellion tells the commander that M99 is the T-Doll in charge of the operation, with the commander's mission being guiding her and her squad in the carrying out of this operation. Later, someone codenamed Hawk calls into someone codenamed Chief. Chief is M99 and tells Hawk to go ahead. Type 97S is Hawk and asks if everything is ready as she's freezing.
I believe I've seen Hawk as well. I mean, from I was looking at information. I kind of lost her name. Maybe she's Ballista, I believe, with the Hawk. Or maybe not. I was just looking at her, but I'm not sure if that's the Hawk they are referring to here. So I'm just gonna instead scratch that thought. Let's continue.
M99 apologizing for taking so long, then saying she's heading out now as she just got the green light. M99 asks 97S if she's at all scared that they're traveling in the dark. 97S says that escort missions are her forte, and asks
also, you're saying, Char, that in 2025 we're getting a PC version of Girls Frontline. Really? Girls Frontline 1 is going to PC. Does that also mean that it's a whole different, completely new server? Or are the players that played Girls Frontline 1 are just able to play the same way on PC as well, so everything stays the same for them? So can they continue on PC, or is this something completely different? Do you know anything about that? Because I've seen it happen in either way. When they announced a different port to a game where everything was kept and literally it was just another port for the game. But I also seen the other side when they said they will introduce it to a new platform and it was a whole completely separate server, restart from the zero, get go, etc. Okay. But do we know? Well, I didn't know this fact, to be honest with you. But do we have any more information, like when in 2025? First quarter, first half, first quarter? But it's likely people will keep shit. Yeah. Okay. Sounds about right. I mean, it was about time, I believe, that those who play the game, to be fair, those who wanted to play it on PC could have emulated it on PCs so far. So But yeah, it's a nice touch, I guess.
Asks what's there to be nervous about, and that she's patrolled this route many times with Mosin and her friends, knowing it like the back of her hand. M99 only feels at ease if she can see far ahead, but her vision is bad during the night. M99 asks why she was sent as she isn't fit for such operations. 97S tells her to grin and bear it as things don't always go the way they want, and that they'll just have to move on, reassuring M99 that she won't let anyone touch her. M99 appreciates it and asks the commander to lead the way. After arriving at the storehouse, 97S spots Type 56-1 and waves at her. 56 asks if something happened on their way there, with M99 apologizing, saying that there were many SF units along the way. 56 says that the supplies are packed.
Okay, type 56-1, as you can see here on the character splash art. It's very deceiving because the character art versus the splash art are two completely different things. The character art barely looks anything, and the splash art, which I see here of type 56-1, is also has like she's the one with the green cami like outfit from Street Fighters, basically, and who appeared in chapter 1 as well. But the character art barely shows anything. The
Ready
splash
to
art does.
go. 97S thought there would be more, with 56 explaining that some humans from a nearby settlement took some, which is why she
And might as well just blow it up now, because why not? There will be another character introduced later on in this chapter, namely NZ75, who will look like kind of a mean looking doll, mean looking kind of girl with a black/leather coat on her.
she's there to guard the rest of it. They then head out to their destination.
Yeah, and yeah, okay.
30 minutes later, 56 asks M99 if she wants to grab a snack. M99 offers her chocolate, with 56 taking it and saying that it's hardly enough. Not to mention that the chocolate that M99 has, which
Well, this is going, let me get rid of the best viewer bot.
56 believes is from 92, is adulterated fat, as 92 knows that M99 can't tell the difference and always gives the cheap stuff to M99. M99 asks why 56 is so picky, as she's usually down to earth, with 97S saying that 56 is a huge foodie and that M99 could learn a thing or two from her. M99 makes excuses, then says they have to wait for everyone to show up. 97S didn't expect more people, but M99 says that they have to stop by a recon outpost to meet up with someone called NZ, as she was sent to scout out ahead. 56 isn't a fan of NZ, as she describes her as difficult. M99 says that NZ is very serious on missions and that they can't cook until they meet up with NZ. 56 gets everyone to rush as she's starving, with M99 asking the commander to lead them to the outpost. The three arrive at the recon outpost where NZ75 is located, but they can't seem to find her anywhere. 97S has an idea and shouts out that NZ's new dress is here, with NZ revealing her location with a clang.
Also, why the hell is Streamlabs bot behaving like a moron again? Like, I swear to God, something with the question marks is. I don't know why it is doing that. Hopefully, it will fix itself. I was wondering why isn't it giving anything. Hmm. Let me just give out a command, see if it works. Yep, it seems to be working, so I don't get it. Also, Girls Front, Charles, you're saying Girls Frontline as a franchise is funny because till Girls Frontline 2, it hasn't been much profitable at all, and so it was all funded as a passion project by Yutong, pretty much. Yutong, I hope I pronounced it correctly. So pretty much pouring his investment money into the franchise, LMAO. That's why even if Girls Frontline 1 made only like $100K, it still continued to this day. I mean, it's very admirable. And also, like I said before, like Girls Frontline 2, it was weird for me because at many angles it showed polish, it showed care, but only at the UI angle. From the UI angle, UI's perspective, me as a gamer, and when I look at the details, the UI department, like if there's like a design, a graphical, a marketing, yada yada yada, like each section of game making, the UI department gets a capital F from me. Like it's fucked up. Like the UI is probably the worst thing that exists in Girls Frontline 2 easily. The story is nice, the cutscenes are abundant and very nice. It even had the extra care of doing like different types of cutscenes, which is easily pre-rendered and easily playable from like mobile devices as well. I assume that's why the gameplay is solid outside of like small bugs with the creepy doll and autoplay on creepy doll specifically, like when the camera was freezing, the characters were slow mo moving, or even my characters were moving on enemy's turn, like not taunt or fear or something like that, like slow motion moving away while enemies are literally moving and stuff like that. So yeah, it was weird. But to be fair, they did say in a official YouTube video of theirs, like maybe a month ago, that they are working on the UI and remaking it. Similarly to like XCOM and Ark Knights, like it will have a base design, as I've heard. No, no, no. It's not rustic, Char. It's not rustic. It's bad. Like you don't need to have 7 fucking shops separately. It's like worse than Windows 11. Like it's under a menu, inside a menu, and there you can find a shop. The next shop is under a different menu, different sub menu, different category. Like we have the regular shop on the main UI page. We have the boss shop. We have the dormitory daily, whatever it's workshop it's called. We have a separate event shop. We have the fucking platoon shop. We have so many, for example, the shops. And by the way, I don't know if you have noticed, but the daily free chest is not highlighted, unlike anything else that it's not very important with the red exclamation mark. Because why would it be highlighted that you can get free stuffs? Oh yeah, then wait, I already closed the game because I finished. Tell me about this. There's the crafting inside the, I don't know what the menu is called, but where the dormitory is, the second option under the dormitory. I'm talking about, where you can exchange coins for like random shit from the machine. That sub menu. So whatever it is, you can send up to 5 teams on a 20-hour, like whatever, and there's that shop. Like, please tell me you know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to reopen the game right now. Well, yeah, dispatch. So in the dispatch shop, you can buy, accessory boxes. I think 5 per week, and there's like 4 or 5 different kind of accessories that you can buy. Correct? Wait, wait, wait. I'm cooking. I'm cooking. So you can buy those accessory boxes. Now, let's say you bought all of them. That is 25 a week. Let's say you only bought 2 weeks worth of boxes. That means you will have 50 boxes. And tell me how much fun it is to one by one open each fucking box, taking 5 to 10 seconds each box each time. Yep. You already know where I was going with this. Like, it's not a huge deal, but it because it's not a huge deal, it makes it more infuriating because it's so basic. It's like I don't know, me spilling milk on the kitchen table and not cleaning it up because it's basic to clean it up, but I just don't. It makes it more infuriating. Yep, that's what I'm saying. They officially said it in a YouTube video that they are not working on it, they are reworking it. Like completely. Like they showed us even some examples how they wanted to turn out. And if they manage to do it, like if it will resemble like XCOM or Arknight's kind of UI, then everything will be fine. Just please let us mass do stuff, not one by one, and just freaking get rid of all this fucking menus and sub menus. Just put everything into fucking logical categories and make it as simple as possible. That's it. That's all I ask. Everything else is fine, even more than fine in some areas. Like the character polish, the character interactions are fucking phenomenal. The gameplay outside those few bugs is solid, etc. And I'm not being harsh because I hate the game. I'm being harsh because I love the game. It's tough love. Micah has always been kind of transparent about stuff. I don't know. It's good to know. I mean, how transparent can they be? I mean, at one point, there's no, you cannot be any more transparent. They said and showed what they're gonna do, and yeah, it's not about being transparent. It's about can they deliver. It's good to be transparent, at least. I agree with that. So where were we, by the way? Oh yeah, they are revealing NZ75 here, I believe.
NZ is embarrassed to be found that way, with 97S telling her to hurry up and tell M99 her report. NZ reports that many SF bases lie ahead, but security is low and it shouldn't be too big a problem as long as they're careful. 56 asks where they can resupply, with NZ saying that all the supply outposts along the route are either destroyed or looted.
Also saying, Charlotte, irony as Girls Frontline 1 later has such a good story, and then you just go, can't wait for our singularity and polarized light keck. Interesting. Also, the Streamlabs bot suddenly decided to work properly again with no question marks, so sometimes the bot is just freaking, I don't know. Like, I literally doing nothing, it's automated, and once it has the question mark in it, the second time it doesn't. Make it make sense, please. Make it make fucking sense, because it doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, okay, well, if the Girls Frontline 1 story gets real good, I'm all in for it. So far, we're in the 5th chapter, nothing too, phenomenal has happened. It was basic beyond basic, in a sense that, like, yeah. Like, I could summarize it in, like, 5 sentences, the 5 chapters, kinda.
After security went down. M99 tells everyone to dig in on the food and move the stuff quickly in hope of the locals showing them hospitality. 56 suggests opening a crate as no one will find out, with M99 snapping at her to not touch them as they're under orders from the military, as 56 is known for being honest and she's astonished that she'd even suggest such a thing. 56 tells her that no one can fight on an empty stomach, with 97S agreeing that it's hard to keep morale up with a few ration cans when there's nowhere to resupply. M99 tells everyone they're not far from their destination, and they're bound to come across a supply outpost that's intact at some point during their journey. NZ says she wants to get it over with ASAP. 30 minutes later again, the four of them spot the human settlement, with M9
Ah, yeah, this is NZ, the mean looking one. Chapter 1 to 10 is getting into the rhythm of being commander. True story starts at chapter 9. Well, okay, I'll believe that. Uh, I mean, it's nice if it catches up and gets good at one point. It's just that, how long does it take to get to like chapter 9? And if until the point to get to chapter 9 you kind of feel, unmotivated and not really care, then what makes people give a second chance to it or want to start connecting into the story? Like, after you skip the first 9 chapters and then suddenly becomes good, like, do you still want to even try to catch up in the story when you can't even, recap what happened in the first 9? Maybe not. For me, it's a no. Like, that's why I'm doing it like this, because in Girls Frontline 2, I was incentivized to skip the story in the first 3 to 4 5 chapters because of energy. I was overcapped non-stop and I was skipping to just get myself under the cap. Uh, Starts at chapter 9 as in overarching plot. Well, okay. Okay, well, we will see when we get to chapter 9, I guess.
99 asking if everyone can make it. NZ and 56 are hungry, with 97S's stomach rumbling.
It's again like, I can only bring up Honkai Star as an example because that was my latest example. It doesn't really matter if the story is okay, if the delivery of the story is catastrophic. And with that said, let me just not trap myself into doing the same mistake. After we finish up chapter 5, I think we will gonna wrap it up because too much info is definitely a headache. And I don't want to repeat the same fucking mistake.
NZ teases 97S, with
So it's
M99 calming them
actually
both down.
it's actually good to pause and, speak out loud, because yeah, without this, I think I just would have went and kept on doing the next chapter because I have prepared until like chapter 7. And yeah, I think chapter 5 chapters is more than enough for one day. We're at it at 3 hours right now. To be fair, in reading the story of the first chapters, you get setups and mysteries. You do? Maybe you do. Yeah, I agree on that. I agree on that. It's always more fun to play a game instead of watching someone play a game. Like, that's a fact. But I mean, this is the second best option I have if I don't want to play it, but I actually not just want to, but kind of need to know it in order to understand Girls Frontline 2. Because the main goal for me is to understand the Girls Frontline 2 lore. But not only that I don't know the my bad, the previous version from Girls Frontline 1. Like, how did we end up starting with Grows and Nemesis, for example? Is Nemesis even in the first series, etc.? But yeah, and after that, what happened until like chapter 7 with Girls Frontline 2? Because until like chapter 3, 4, or 5, I skipped intentionally because, like I said again, energy. And from that point until chapter 7, I skipped because I was like, well, I skipped so far. I know jack shit. I'm not gonna understand anything anyway. So let's just continue like this, like skipping. And now I'm at the beginning of the new chapter 8, and I'm like, well, okay. Now we have time. Now we don't need to rush. Maybe we can catch up on the story. You know what I'm saying?
The three of them start fighting more and more, bringing up previous incidents such as P7's mooncakes.
Well, yeah, I'm most likely gonna do that, but like I said before, like, even when others were watching and wanted me to do the story, I've tried to do it, but I'm like, what's the fucking point if I don't even understand anything of it? Like, I have to go through all of it from the beginning to be fair. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going all the way from the beginning, and when I get to that point, I will listen to it, but why start the story from the middle if that just like makes no sense to me.
roast pork with too much soy sauce, and so on. M99
It's
finally
like reading your Harry Potter series from starting from book 3 or book 5. Like, what's the point? Start it from fucking book 1.
manages to calm them down and asks the commander to continue to lead the way. After the fighting, the four reach another abandoned supply outpost. 97S asks M99 if they can go yet, with M99 saying that they can't move until there's a gap in enemy patrols, as there's an SF ringleader in the area who's in control of a Jupiter. NZ grows impatient, with 56 piping up that the humans aren't actually short on food, revealing that the supplies are ingredients for the rich to throw banquets with. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looted so thoroughly. 56 tries to sneak a bit before being stopped by M99, as a mission is a mission. M99 finally caves into the other three, with them coming up with the excuse that their supplies were lost along the way.
To be fair, I know many people who can read haphazardly, as in they can read, like there's a trilogy. Let's say read Lord of the Rings. They could read the third one from the trilogy and then hop back to the first and second later. I'm just not built like that. I'm built different, I guess. Like for me, there's always like an order. Like I cannot go like I read book 2, I read book 3, I read book 6, I read book 7, and then I come back to book 1 and book 4 and book 5 like that. I can't do that.
NZ, 56, and 97S dig through the food, planning on what to eat, going through fresh veggies, meat, and then getting into a spat about preparing food. While they argue, 56 hears something incoming. It's a Jupiter, and the four duck from the spot. They're all fine, as only the kitchen collapsed.
The
All the
PTSD
food
Jupiter.
is gone. 5 minutes later, Destroyer calls in saying she detected them a while ago but didn't want to scare them off too early. Even if that strike didn't kill them, it gave the T-Dolls a taste of its power, and with the next strike, she's then cut off by 56 and 97S, saying there won't be a next strike, vowing that today will be the day Destroyer dies. Destroyer asks if they know who she is, with NZ responding that she's the one M4 wiped the floor with. The three raise their fists and charge Destroyer. M99 asks for the help of the commander, as the enemy has a lot of troops. After the battle, Destroyer calls all units to return to base to await orders as they have escaped. M99 says that they reached the human settlement 2 hours later and handed off the goods, with the recipient not objecting to the excuse of lost goods, but they didn't escape Hellian's watchful eye. Back at HQ, Hellion asks M99 about the small difference between what they received and what they delivered. M99 says that she explained it to the person there, with Hellion bringing up that the report they
Yeah, so again, just to keep reminding myself, from left to right is Type 56-1, M99, the leader with the fucking forehead ribbon, like a huge forehead. Then the last one is NZ75, the mean looking girl. And Type 97 is the third one with the school uniform, who is also Kyuha or Hyuha.
submitted says the difference was lost in battle, yet the
She's also gonna be a playable character, I assume, in Girls Frontline 2.
packaging of the supplies and the photos were in good condition.
Also, you're saying, Char, that fun fact: the reason T-dolls look like girls is because after World War III, governments have to suppress rebellions and warlords, but people what? Well, let me just go at it again. I should put the mic somewhere better place where I can actually read this without looking too far away with my head tilting. So, fun fact: the reason T-dolls look like girls is because after World War III, governments had to suppress rebellions and warlords, but people were scared of military dolls. So, a certain scientist went like, "Why don't we make that look like cute girls?" I mean, you know it. I know it. That scientist was a full-on otaku shut-in. That's for sure. with that said, Griffin, the organization which we are in, was the first to implement them and became the #1 PMC in Europe. It's Europe based, okay. So it's not like in the world, it's only Europe. I see. Well, that explains the German and Russian attires, I guess. Persica. Wait, Persica as in the character Persica, the scientist girl. She was the one. Wait. Is it that Persica? Yeah, the head of R&D, director of the 16 lab, former member of the 90 Wish, and who created the AR team, the assault rifle team. Okay. So she was the freaking otaku. Damn, it wasn't even a man. Womp womp. Well, maybe she's leaning that way. Who knows? JK. Just joking.
Haley
But
ensures
thanks for the info. Still, I think I'm mad at her. No, I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at the second in command, the freaking Kruger's assistant. What's her name? Hugh Helianthus. I'm freaking mad at Helianthus because she had the fucking nerve to disrespect coffee, saying coffee is like dirty dishwater, washing the dishes. And again, I'm just joking because I don't know her character or how she looks like, but I'm a big coffee enjoyer. So anybody who pisses on my coffee is on my chopping block list. Like he calls it Helian in the video, but her full name is Helianthus, Kruger's secretary and second in command of the GNK. The monocle girl. That's all I can say. The one with the monocle. Yeah. Oh, what a surprise. A hater of coffee is a lover of tea. Fucking British, I'm telling you. She is British. She's gotta be British. Loves tea, hates coffee. Monocle. Of course. Why didn't I see it? She has a monocle. She has to be British. Oh. God damn it. Freaking British. Always the British. Joking. I love the British. I love tea as well.
that the supplies were well protected and
But I love coffee a bit more.
didn't think one box would go missing. Hellion tells M99 to tell the truth as she doesn't want to have to go through her neural cloud. M99 explains how it was lost, but is cut off by Hellion receiving a call. After the call, Hellion returns saying that the commander told them that M99's team was critically low on supplies during the battle and were ordered to open up the goods to use as an
Just like I'm critically low on coffee.
emergency supply. M99 confirms this, with Hellion saying that they'll more suitably arrange and upgrade supply points to prevent similar incidents in the future. Hellion then praises M99's team for the mission, saying that they'll be rewarded, and that they should rest and recover in the meantime. M99 feels less guilty now that the commander covered for her, while the rest of the group reminisces about the lost food. M99 then opens a container by her feet, with M99 explaining that the client gave her a small token of
I misheard that. Instead of opening a container near her feet, I heard like she was opening a container with her feet. I'm like, what?
then opens a container by her feet, with M99 explaining that the client gave her a small token of appreciation before they left as she was such a cute tea doll. 56 tells M99 to invite the commander tonight to join the feast, while the rest gossip about the different foods that they should make for the commander, as well as what the other Chinese tea dolls are making food-wise. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates and check out my other Azure Lane and Arknights videos.
All right. Well, goddamn it. Goddamn. We learned so much today, especially me. Like, who knew that there was actually so many characters introduced into the game so early on? Like, let's do a head count real fast. Before that, Charlie, you're saying chapter like this are more like character time and building because Joe's saying goes, we will save this for later. Yeah, I mean, I understand the importance of, setting up the world, setting up the environment, setting up the characters, getting to know the characters, building up tension. So far, it's just that. It's just building, 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 building. But like at one point you gotta start to show something off, not just like it's like if I want to give you an example, it's like in a construction site, the construction site is like fenced off, blocked off, out of public view most of the time if it's a project like that. And there's a big billboard saying construction is on the way. It started this date, it will end at this date, etc. Or it started at this date, etc. And as time goes by, you can only see that construction is on the way, that billboard, but you see nothing like emerging behind the walls or that, like if it's a skyscraper and you cannot even see the first floor or the first store. Like at some point you cannot just say you're building, you have to show it. Otherwise it's gonna be a disaster. That's the best example I can give. But yeah, so now I know from you that it's probably gonna start showing at chapter 9 and 10. But with that, what I originally wanted to do is to make a head count of how many characters we have encountered already that we actually know that's gonna be in Girls Frontline 2 as well. So we had WA 2000 or 2K, which is Macchiato, whose banner was the previous banner. And if I had known this a little bit earlier, it may have given me the edge not to skip her, but we skipped her, and who cares about her Bex banner? It is what it is. I'm more excited about Kukle or HK416 because I only heard good news from her. G11, which is Mekti, I literally heard nothing about her, but she's gonna be in the game as well at some point, it seems. That's number 3. Number 4, Springfield. Springfield was only mentioned. She is M1903. I don't know if she has any connection to M1911, which is also a squad member of Thompson, mentioned in Chapter 2 Night Maps. Uh, Dushen Viana is also another Girls Frontline 1 doll. I don't even know who that is. You will also say that atmosphere is kind of intentional because then they pull the rug under your feet and destroy your livelihood. Maybe. She is KSVK. Still don't know anything about it. Like she is probably deeper into the stories. Like I only prepared till like chapter 7, so she's probably later on because I have seen nothing about her so far. With that said, I was very very shocked and surprised of OTS 14 or Groza showing up really early on in chapter 3 night maps, along with M1895 and M1891 with Nagant the revolver and Mosin Nagant. So that's a head count of 6 so far. And then there was one more. Ah, yes, Type 97 shotgun. The Kyuha. Kyuha. I don't know if it's Kyuha or Kyuha. Kyuha. Something like that. Something along those lines, I guess. Was there anybody else? Not that I can see. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Char. Like, 5 chapters was more than enough, in my opinion. Maybe we could go on and finish all 7 like I prepared, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm gonna wrap it up now. I'm sorry that you may have wanted to, chat along a little bit more. UMP9, aka Lena, is also part of the characters we saw. Did we saw UMP9? I know we saw UMP45, but UMP9 wasn't in, I think. No, 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 you're right, you're right, you're right. UMP9 will be, will be, because we are at chapter 5. UMP9 will be up in the next video. We haven't saw her yet. We will see it. We will see her if I go here next. So in this video, we will see UMP9. But up till now, we didn't see her. Because this is quote unquote chapter 5.5. This is the event, the fucking Operation Cube with Squad 404. And in here with Squad 404, this is where we will find her. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it would be nice if I would enjoy it as well. So far, I enjoy it. To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter if I enjoy it. My first priority is for you and the viewers to enjoy it, because I can enjoy it while I'm off stream. While I'm on stream, the most important thing is for you guys to enjoy it, in my opinion. Like, it's secondary if I less enjoy it, or Ghost Frontline 1 is a lot to catch up, so yeah, take your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of hard to just, especially since I'm not American and not a huge weapon collector, or know the I don't know much about weapons. For Americans, this game would be like a walk in the park. They would just look at the weapon and they would instantly know what characters which. For me, just the names alone is it's quite hard. Like, my name memory isn't the best in the world as well. So combining those two facts, yeah, I'm gonna have a bit of time with this one until I get very familiarized with all the characters. But yeah, next chapter will be the Operation Cube with Squad 404, which is, again, it's a funny name for a squad because it's a lost not found squad name, which is kind of fitting so far as we've seen, especially since UMP44, when she threatened her to keep it a secret and not tell anyone about Squad 404. But yeah, and then we will have Squad Negev, Squad FN, back to Squad FN. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. You're Italian, to be honest. You know weapons a lot because you enjoy weapons a lot in history. Yeah, history I know a little bit, but not weapons. Like, I know historic weapons like the Thompson, like the SKS, and like those quote unquote historical old weapons, but not to the point where if I just see a weapon, I would know immediately what it is. Like, I know a few very famous ones, like the AK-47. I just looked at it, I know it was the AK-47. Or for example, a few sniper rifles. But if I see like a pistol, I couldn't distinguish it from a Nagant or from anything else. Also, do you like if you're Italian? Let me ask you this: if you are Italian, what do you think about this? This is always something I wanted to ask an Italian. Because I know that this is kind of like what do you call it? Like a sacrilege. This and breaking pasta, and I knew a third one, but I cannot recall. Like these are are they really considered sacrilege, or are they like more of a stereotype kind of thing? Though it's past 12, I am legally obliged to tell. Okay, so it's not a stereotype. A Spas 12 is a good shotgun. I know it from Tarkov and Zero C, but yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, wait. Isn't Spas 12? Oh my god, isn't Spas 12 fucking Sabrina with the pizza? Wait, is Spas 12 fucking Sabrina? Let me check. Where is my fucking Google when I need it? Oh yeah, Sabrina is fucking Spas 12. Now it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you Italians hate pineapple on pizza. I hate Sabrina, who is not thick. So we both agree. I like thick Sabrina. You like normal pizza. Really? She's Italian. Her voice actor, based on her voice acting, it never occurred to me that she's Italian. She has a great appetite and a great figure. I mean, sorry, great personality, and I love her. She is my strongest unit, by the way, with like what 11 or 12,000 points of combat power. Like she's one I really like. Oh yeah, and on her in her dormitory when she has this emote on sleeping and watching menus, like food menus. Like there's even coffee items on that menu. So goddamn, Sabrina served in the Italian police. Who would have thought? All right. Well, if you liked what you see, Char, consider dropping a follow and join us on Discord, where we and the guys, from time to time, chat about Girls Frontline and other games as well. And if you are more interested and want to help me out, learn more of this game, I have my streaming schedule uploaded both on Discord, and I'm trying to not forget and update it on my Twitch channel page as well, which I have did for this week, like early this week on Monday, not until like Thursday. I'm gonna be doing the next session of Girls Frontline 2 lore stream on Friday, on the 7th of February. If you would like to join and have the free time, please feel free to do so. I would welcome you as well. Uh, Also, you're saying many like Suomi builder programs Suomi to what? Like Suomi builder programmed Suomi's builder programmed Suomi to hate Soviet dolls instinctively. So wait, if her builder built Suomi to hate Soviet dolls instinctively, then why is Suomi dressed up as one? And thank you for the follow, very much appreciated. It helps me a lot and it means a lot to me. So why is Suomi actually dressed up as one? Or is she like a quote unquote neighboring country to the Soviets, which is also in the cold Arctic like weather or colds? Ah, Suomi is Finnish. Yeah. Okay. I see it now. Yeah, not the best neighbors historically. Like first, I thought it Suomi might be Polish or Lithuanian, maybe. But yeah, Finnish sounds about all right. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, Finland is quite up north as well, which would explain how there's like the northern lights. LOL. Uh, really? Mosen Nagan's Japanese voice actor actually knows Russian? I mean, to be fair, yeah, I heard even the English voice actor. I don't know who's the English voice actor, but the English voice actor definitely has like the Soviet accent or the Russian accent. Soviet, sorry, the Russian accent. I'm putting for the Dognest. It almost sounds like Zarya from Overwatch. Welcome to the Dognest, or something like that. To be fair, I never ever heard the JP voice actors in game. I don't even know if I have the sound pack or is it something separately downloadable or is it coming with the base game? I just need to switch the option. Yeah, English VA. Like you're probably talking about the Girls Frontline one. I'm talking about Girls Frontline 2. I don't play Girls Frontline 1. I'm talking about Mosin Nagan's voice actor in Girls Frontline 2, the English voice actor. And you're probably talking about Mosin Nagan's Japanese voice actor in Girls Frontline 1, quote unquote 1. Correct? That's where the misunderstanding came from. Oh, am I just tripping then? What the fuck? Wait. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm tripping. Fucking, there's no English in there. God damn it. Sometimes I understand Japanese like English, so probably that's where the misunderstanding came from. Like it didn't even occur to me. Like, oh yeah, that's not even English. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. I was actually tripping. Oh yeah, goddamn. It's like literally that. To be fair, this has happened before. This happened with me before. Like I was watching an anime in JP, and I was like, "Oh my god, the fucking English VA nailed it!" And they were like, "What English? It's in Japanese. What do you mean?" Oh, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's JP." God damn it! God damn it! Okay, puns aside, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Tomorrow I will be streaming Honkai Star Rail. A little bit excited for that since the new Perfection and the new event is out. Thursday and Sunday I'm gonna be offline. Friday we will continue with the Girls Frontline lore. And on Saturday it's gonna be Arcanites with the new upcoming event, which is, let me take a sneak peek. So in Arknight, it's gonna be the Casdalian Rescue event. In Honkai Star, it's gonna be the Enscrolled Crepusculum event. And yeah, that's basically it. Yep. It's gonna be more of the lore. Like we will continue with chapter quote unquote 5.5, which is gonna be the Operation Cube, chapter 6 with Squad Negev, and later on 6 nights with Squad FN. Chapter 7, yada until we can, or until we ran out, or until ran out of chapters, or ran out of time, or ran out of patience, basically. Take care, have a good night, day, or wherever you are watching from. I mean, you said you were Italian, so you're kind of in a similar time zone where it's nighttime for you. So I wish you a pleasant evening, have a good night, and see you guys next time. And you as well, Char. Bye bye.